Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Great to be with you. Hope you're well on this Libations Friday, loosey-goosey edition of the program. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming. Free always. If you miss anything, all 3 hours are going to be posted on iTunes and in our own audio vault. You can email the show if you like. JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. On Twitter, it's at J Cameron Show. WTSM app, good for mobile devices. We're on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Hello, YouTubers. ESPN Tallahassee on YouTube. All right, so, some high school preseason football is getting underway. Were you aware of that? I don't cover that. I'm not gonna talk about the high school teams. I don't mean even here. I just was looking throughout the state today, going through the various sports pages in the state, and they were talking about football is underway. And I thought, what? Wait, where? Yeah, man, they're balling. It's time. It's ready to roll.
Is that because the school year calendar is a little bit different than when we were growing up, or
maybe?
When were your two-a-days?
Leading up to school starting, so August,
early August.
Yeah. Hotter than Hades. Sucked.
It's crazy. The school system in Georgia, my sister works in it, and they get the shorter break for summer, but they get weeks off staggered throughout the calendar. I mean, I don't know if you're not a parent who works in the school system yourself, how you manage your kids. But I'm talking at the elementary level. They get a break in September. They get a break in November, December, February, April. It's crazy how it works now instead of the full summer like we got.
Well, I'm just now learning all the stuff about the frustrations of when school is out and how that affects you. Not just now. Obviously, my kids are 10 and 8. But, yeah, summertime is hell on earth for parents. Your kids are in some sort of camp incessantly, and you're just spinning out the wazoo.
Did I hear right today? It's baseball camp?
Next week starts baseball camp for Bryce and Clark. Ooh. Yeah, they'll both be going to baseball camp, which they're eager to do, and they're excited about it. And I'm excited about it. Yeah, their camps, Tom. This is a little aside here to start the show. So you sit down and you go, okay, well, here's when we're going on a family vacation, and here's where we're doing this, and then, okay, this camp, all right, I'm not a huge fan of that camp, but it's all right. But you'll find your wife and you have different opinions about the camps. And that's where it gets interesting. Your wife will, I think they should go to this. This camp sucks. Well, I don't want to write that check. I hate that camp. They don't get anything out of that camp. Well, Bryce likes it. Well, and then there are camps that you're both like, woo, all right, it's this camp week. This is a great camp. Everybody loves this camp. I like the camp where I can send my kids away.
The old school camp?
Camp Opa. You're going to go see your granddad, kids. Camp Opa's got you for 8 days.
When is Camp Opa?
We didn't do Camp Opa this year.
What? Mm-mm. That's usually golf week for the Jeff Cameron Show.
Oh, it sure is. There was no Camp Opa this week for various reasons. Just couldn't match up the schedules. My dad was traveling overseas and doing stuff, and I couldn't get Camp Opa on the same page.
Where did he go?
Well, this year, I think he went to... First of all, he went to the northeast of the country, so he was in Maine and all that other stuff. And
it's gorgeous there. Yeah,
and then they went. Where did they? I lose track. Was it this year that they were in Rome and they went all over? They did Spain and Italy. They did everything.
This gets me excited because every football season, which is now right around the corner, he comes back and he has stories.
They
everywhere he's been.
They freaking travel. I lose track of my dad's travels. That's the way it should be when you're retired. He's retired. You should go see things, go do things.
I love the stories, too, usually at the 7th Hill when we're there on a Friday for the broadcast.
Soon.
Yeah. He'll regale you with these details about historical facts he's learned that you would never know from a textbook.
And some of that's great. Some of that, you go, oh, okay. Get another one of these stories.
Well, then there's like a segment to do. So you get your 5 minutes, and then you go back and we do a segment.
All right, here you go. So Willie Taggart is putting on the big event there, Saturday Night Live, if you will, for tomorrow night at Doak. And I'm curious, how many people do you think? So last summer he did it at Oregon, and he drew over 50 recruits, and I guess, I don't know, over 7,000 fans showed up. Does that seem about right? I guess they're going to try to get about 10,000 here. Obviously, more rabid fans at Florida State than Oregon.
More rabid fans, yeah.
That's how I'll phrase it. So they're hoping to get upwards of 10,000 people, which is if you're in the stadium, doesn't look like much, but 10,000 people showing up to celebrate the big Saturday SNL event. And he was able to nab a 5-star recruit at Oregon in doing it. So I don't know what the expectation is, but they've been working on this for a while. And you've got 3 5-star 2019 kids coming in, and you've got the number 1 recruit in the 2019 class coming in. And so you've got some kids that are coming in that are of great value. And I want to put all this together. Yeah, I'm not going to be there. You guys know it's not my cup of tea. But whatever. I get how important recruiting is, how it's everything. But I wonder, what are the expectations of fans and this coaching staff really regarding this event? What do they think they'll get out of this? I'm kind of curious.
I care about, commitments more than the amount of people that are in the stands. But if you're going to promote it and say that Oregon drew X amount of people, no matter how many people show up, you have to say that more people than Oregon's showed up. You can't say, well, thanks to the 3,000 fans that showed up in Tallahassee this weekend for a Saturday Night Live, after you promote it and you send it out to all the sites saying that they drew 6,000 or 7,000 people. You have to at least report 7,500 to 8,000 people. Even if 400 are there, you just have to.
They're going to get more than that. I mean, listen, there are plenty of people who do love this stuff, and they're going to go to that. And I think they'll get 10,000+ people, maybe 9,000 to 10,000. I know it's not our thing, but man, there are plenty of people that love that. And I do know this, all jokes aside and commentary aside from me about the people that go to recruiting events. Look, a lot of it is just a shared passion for and a love for school, and that we can relate to. And so that's fine. That's great. If it's just an opportunity because you don't feel like waiting 30 whatever days and you just want to get out there and see some football or see something that resembles football at Doak Campbell Stadium with people who have a shared passion, that's really what that's about. So I get that. As for the kids, if it does anything for them, sure, maybe it does. I guess to see the level of enthusiasm and support for the program that they're contemplating going to. Okay, I got you. My man Dante Lucas is going to be there.
That's right.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I saw he attributed this trip as coming home.
Nice.
Yeah. How about that?
I like to see it. And I know there are some studs at this thing. I mean, big-time stars that are coming to this thing. Some of the best players in the country, not just the Southeast, are coming to this thing. So, yeah.
War daddies.
Yeah. Future war daddies. I'm excited about that. But and it's for all position groups. I mean, for FSU, they obviously we I was looking at the Democrat story that was out today about how look, they told kids basically the top targets attend the SNL event. If you can't make these other ones, or you can only make one, come to this one. So they've hyper-focused on, hey, look, this is going to be a big event where the best players are going to be at. If you can only come to one, come to this one. So there will be some real talent here. There is going to be real talent here.
Well, you've talked about it in the past, be it trips to Arlington for the kickoff against Oklahoma State, or back-to-back seasons where we went out to L.A., once to Orange County, once to Westwood. You've made a lot of sacrifices for the listeners.
I've had to do that over the years, Tom. It's just what I do. I like to be at these games, at these events, at these clashes of titans, if you will, in order to relay to the fans back home who could not make it what it looked like.
I think it's time for the people of Tallahassee to make a sacrifice for us. We don't want to go. You go.
You go.
But the
and tell
more
us
people
how
that
it was.
go, the better it is for the program. And hey, maybe you'll sit next to the guy that's linked into the message boards and, posting his updates about how the 7-on-7s are going.
Lateral speed.
Well, is Matt Millar going to be in attendance?
He's going out of town. He's going to miss SNL. He's going out of town. In fact, I know this as I'm going to help watch his house. He's going out of town, going to miss the big SNL event.
Because if he stamped somebody as a Millar-level lateral speed candidate, that's the recruit that you want.
Big to do.
That's your Wes Welker.
Yeah. Well, this year I already stamped my guy, as I noted with Dante. Once I got him, I already accomplished what I wanted.
Yeah, you got Dante Lucas.
I got him to the program.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think.
There's a little bit of that good kind of evil.
Oh, and you want those guys that are borderline. I will say this. I've been very encouraged. You know how there's some areas in which you're not encouraged, like linebacker. Why do we struggle, again, to get linebackers to come to Florida State with the rich tradition of ass kickers at that position? Why are we having such a difficult time filling that position with dominant players. Georgia gets them left and right. You're seeing, obviously, Alabama always does. There are a lot of schools that seem to have no problem with this right now, but we continue to struggle with this, and it's very upsetting to me. On the other hand, it does look like we are making great strides when it comes to offensive linemen. Great strides. It's not just the guys that have said yes to Florida State so far and that have verbally committed, but others that are at least considering Florida State that would not have. You've got arguably the best offensive lineman in the country, or most sought after recruit in the country, saying Florida State has made the final list of teams that he's looking at. Well, listen, let's be honest. It just wasn't going to happen under the previous offensive line coach.
Well, and there are several at IMG Academy where Mr. Lucas is coming from that are at least interested in Florida State. So perhaps they want to remain teammates. And it's more important to be better at offensive line than linebacker anyway, because the game isn't changing such that there's only 3 offensive linemen on the field.
But that is true with linebackers, right? You're always in the nickel.
Yes.
By the way, on that note, while we're getting so football-oriented, what a beautiful thing, you saw where Willie would like to conduct some practices at IMG. Well, now. Okay. Maybe that will further win over the services of those offensive linemen.
We don't work the beat. That makes our lives much easier.
Yeah, take it on down the road.
Go ahead.
Go, cover it. We'll let you know what we think from afar.
Want to go to STA? Go to STA. We don't care.
Oh, man, I can't wait. We're getting so close. And soon I will be able to announce some good news. I don't want to jinx it, but I think it's good for all of us what I'll be able to announce maybe sometime next week. I'm really, really happy about it.
There'll be more good news, I think, in the next week, too, about...
above and beyond my good news?
Well, your good news would be more beneficial...
to Seminoles everywhere.
Yes, over the long term, too. But this one is about a specific day, and we've kind of half-teased it with the event coming up. But there might be some specific details about the old fest that we might have once a year.
Well, we always have, a listener appreciation party, and that goes a long way. That's one of my favorites.
Your news is much more important for programming. Ours is...
for the on-air content and what we're able to provide for you on a daily basis, weekly basis, in season, this is a much bigger deal.
This would be a big deal for handshaking.
Well, and also having a few pops and shared conversation over the upcoming football season, which who can be upset about that?
Perhaps giving way to, I don't know, a big projector screen of Miami and LSU on a certain day. You can figure out the rest.
So I think, again, as we sit here and map all of this out, how incredible is it that we're going to be able to sit back that first weekend as we have listener appreciation party and get together and all that other stuff and watch these games and the impact of those games, early season games. That Miami LSU game is high on my list. It's right there to some extent, maybe not as great an extent as the Auburn and Washington clash. That just sounds fun.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of those, it sounds fun.
Oh, it really does. And this whole town is going to be a buzz because, the multiple night minimums at the hotels. So the town's going to be packed, and there's going to be Noles everywhere ready for us to play. But it's like the reverse effect of waiting in the clubhouse after posting a number. We're going to have our time, but let's see how the rest of college football looks all together, because we're in from Orlando and Jacksonville and Atlanta and Tampa, Miami. We're everywhere, man. But for one weekend, 3 days, all back in Tallahassee where it all started.
6 Gators facing discipline for airsoft rifles, lying, and just overall silliness. And we'll revel in that story next. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men on a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Smoother, bolder, sharper, comfier, smarter, fiercer, tougher, stronger, longer, greater, prouder. Gravely zero-turn mowers.
In at Mike's Marine Supply for the spring special starting soon. Located at 1296 Coastal Highway, Panacea, Florida. Call Mike's Marine at 984-5637. Online at mikesmarinetallahassee.com.
Parker Brothers Roofing says don't play games with your roof. Protect your home and your family. The Parker Brothers tell you the truth. We'll fix your roof, 'cause it's what we do. With quality, integrity, and pride. Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Roofing is rewarding, but it's not exactly a bed of roses. It's a very dirty job, subject to the environment, working on 98-degree summer days, dodging rainstorms, working on steep slopes like a mountain goat. At Parker Brothers, our skilled workers have chosen this challenging trade as their career choice. These are the people that you want working on your roof. We've been servicing the community since 1995. Call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
CGC 042221, CCC 049350.
The 15th annual Kingfish Shootout is almost here. The tournament is being held on August 4th and 5th in Carabel, Florida. Entry fees are $400 per boat, but with a sponsorship of $1,000 or more, you can get one free boat entry. Purchase a ticket for $100 to enter the boat raffle for a 2018 Nautic Star Flats boat valued at nearly $40,000. Ticket sales are limited to 350 tickets, so act now. There will be a mandatory captain's meeting held on Friday, August 3rd at 6 p.m., followed by a free dinner for captains and crew. To register, visit their website, seaquartersmarina.com, or call them at 697-8400.
Summer is heating up, and so are the Makita deals at Cornerstone Tool & Fastener. Purchase a brushless premium 5-amp-hour hammer drill impact kit and receive your choice of a free bare tool and a free 6-amp-hour battery. That's a $260 value free. Makita introduces one battery, one tool for all your outdoor power equipment needs. Buy a commercial-grade Makita shafted string trimmer and add any other attachment, plus receive a matching blower free. A $189 value for free. Cornerstone Tool & Fastener with 2 locations to choose from: 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway.
Tallahassee, get ready for the WWE Live SummerSlam Heatwave Tour. Saturday night, July 28th at Donald L. Tucker Civic Center. You'll see Roman Reigns join Seth Rollins to face Constable Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre. Braun Strowman faces Kevin Owens. Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss defends against Nia Jax and Sasha Banks, and more. Great seats available now at the box office and TuckerCivicCenter.com.
It's time to get your chop on as our Atlanta Braves continue to roll through the big NL East battles and into the summer.
The 3-2 pitch, here it comes, and there it goes. It's fair, it's long, it's in the chop house.
Atlanta Braves baseball on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you in part by Fonville, Lewis, Messer, and McConaughey, and by Metro Deli in downtown Tallahassee. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com/Braves. You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
In the 5 o'clock hour of today's stellar edition of the Jeff Cameron Show, you'll hear from Virginia Tech head coach Justin Fuente and the impending beatdown they'll take on the 3rd of September. He documents the ways in which they'll lose that game by more than 3 touchdowns. That's not true. He doesn't do that. But you will, what is true, hear from him in the 5 o'clock hour, my interview with him from Charlotte. So I look forward to bringing that to you. Next week, we get the famed Adazio interview.
All right.
Woo-hoo!
Now, you did talk to him off the record about the pastry?
I did.
That warms my heart in a way that is probably unreasonable.
Adazio has dropped some lbs, baby. He's in better shape. You know, he carries his weight well anyhow, but he's very proud of the weight loss. Because when we talked about the pastry, he said, I was probably weighing 265. And I didn't know he could weigh 265 because he's shorter than me. But he's a stocky dude. But
right,
then, sure enough, then he dropped the weight. About 20 pounds, I think.
You had said that he recalled
the pastry moment.
The pastry moment, which is, you don't remember things. He's done a lot of interviews.
He does a ton of them, yeah. He now knows this station. He now knows me. He remembers our previous get-togethers, the whole thing. He knew I was running late. He's sharp. Adazio's got things going at BC, by the way. They have high expectations this year.
I get they're in our division, and we're not rooting for him in November. But other than that, that's the go-get-him team, isn't it? Go get him, Adazio.
Well, that's my squad that's not Florida State. I love me some BC. Their atmosphere at those games is terrible. There's not a lot going on with BC football.
It's like the Tampa Bay Rays atmosphere of the ACC.
You know what? Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a little something there, but not much. Not much. And yet, sometimes they're pretty good.
Right.
There it is. That's the Rays.
The Rays use the cowbells and they use the drum line in Chestnut Hill.
And this stupid eagle that's so loud in your ear if you're sitting in the end zone. Yeah. Oh, sweet.
That was bull you-know-what.
So Virginia Tech's had a tough offseason, but Florida is now vying to surpass Virginia Tech for roughest of the off seasons. And we here in Tallahassee certainly have cause to celebrate those things. I mentioned the group that decided to go wield a fake gun and grab a frying pan a moment ago. But I also, Tay-Bang, should...
Tay-Bang!
should also note this. Did you see where... one of the freshman receivers, Justin Lamar Watkins, announced today that he's going to seek his release from his scholarship at the University of Florida. He wants to leave the University of Florida, where he'll pursue, quote unquote, according to his Twitter account, better opportunities. Now, I would say that's likely in lieu of being told to have a good day, given that he was arrested. And for not minor things. He signed with Florida on National Signing Day in February, found himself arrested in Ocala for trespassing, and in May, after a domestic dispute with a female victim, was arrested once again Tuesday after a female victim with whom he was in a relationship went to UF Police Department, alleging that he choked her, beat her, and assaulted her by throwing a hairbrush and a can of hair grease at her face. He then was charged with 4 counts of false imprisonment, kidnapping, domestic battery by strangulation. If any of that is true, if all of that is true, if portions of that are true, screw that guy eternally. And I would guess that Dan Mullen would have moved immediately to dismiss this individual. So even though we like to have fun at Florida's expense, this isn't one of those things. We could just note that it's part of their awful offseason, and also note that Justin Watkins saying that he's going to pursue better opportunities is a falsehood. He was going to be kicked off the team. He had no more opportunities, I wouldn't think, at Florida.
No, I read a story on this morning, and obviously it was a national story, so it doesn't have the local coverage. But their claim was that Florida did the same thing that Florida State does in these circumstances, which was he's completely removed from all team activities, pending the legal process.
Right.
But if the specifics of the accusations meet specific charges, they weren't broad charges. Domestic abuse with strangulation is the charge itself. There's got to be some veracity, one would think, to the claim.
To note here, I would also say here that as he looks to pursue, quote-unquote, other opportunities, these are 3 separate third-degree felonies. He won't be getting any other opportunities to go play football while those hang over his head. I can't think of a program that says, come on down.
If it's cleared up, Louisville will come calling in a year or two.
If it's cleared up. But again, while that's hanging over your head, we're done dealing here. All right, so Florida coach Dan Mullen issued a statement that the 8 players named in a campus police report that we had brief fun with yesterday because of our man Tay Bang.
Tay Bang!
Multiple players continue to face possible disciplinary action from the University of Florida following an on-campus confrontation involving airsoft rifles. After contents of a University Police Department report first obtained by First Coast News in Jacksonville revealed on Wednesday night that Dan Mullen issued a statement Thursday following that. The 10 players were named in the report. We were made aware of an incident. It occurred and immediately began following campus protocol. This has been an opportunity for us to educate our players about the dangers and negative perceptions that can occur when conflict arises and how important honesty and good decision-making is. According to that UPD report, 7 of the Florida players were involved in an altercation at Keys Residential Complex. This was in late May. They were called to the scene after a witness reported seeing suspicious persons in the area. Now, you always have to be careful. You just read that. That doesn't mean anything happened. Lord knows there have been tons of white people randomly calling the police on black people who are just mowing their lawns. So I always go, well, we'll wait and see. This turns out to be a bit of a problem as they were running around with airsoft rifles and they had painted the tops of them to look like a real rifle. So this sounds like a little bit more veracity to it, right? This is a real problem.
There's some real concern if you're looking out your window and you're seeing somebody with an assault rifle.
10 people were arguing and holding weapons that resemble assault rifles. This is a scary proposition.
Jesus!
What in the world is going on here in Gainesville? I mean, after all, this isn't Tallahassee where guys will occasionally shoot a BB gun and make the New York Times. This is Gainesville, Florida.
I want to win some more, but at what cost? We don't need to bring back Aaron Hernandez.
The police report relies on an account from an alleged gambler in the Gainesville area. His name is Devontae Zachary. He told the UPD that he had a friendship with Florida players, and he described it as a good relationship, but that it began to go south after the team started losing. At first, when they won, relationship was good. Things begin to sour as they begin to lose, which they did quite a bit of.
So this guy was a gambler, but he's betting on Florida to win, apparently.
A lot. Now, Devontae Zachary is his real name, but of course his much better name is Tay Bang. Tay Bang would frequently call the team garbage, according to the police report. And he would complain about losing money after he bet on Florida to win football games when they would rather than lose those football games. And he would go on Facebook and other social media outlets describing the players as soft-ass bitches, quote unquote.
This displeases Tay Bang.
The report states that on the night of May 28th, Tay Bang and his friends waited for Lewis and several Florida football players after yet another exchange of negative attributes, including freshman quarterback Emory Jones, wide receivers Rick Wells, Kadarius Toney, and Tyree Cleveland, defensive tackle Kyrie Campbell, and tight end Kimmore Gamble. The Keys Residential Complex. They were seeking to have a conversation, Tom, about all this excessive losing.
Tay Bang wishes to know why you keep losing.
Upon seeing Tay Bang, the football players then left the scene and returned soon after holding what Tay Bangs described as some sort of assault rifle, noting that there were other players holding rocks and one who revealed himself to be holding a frying pan. Friends, I think we shall disperse. Grab rocks, frying pan, whatever necessary. We'll get the rifles. Tay Bang is here. A UF player later told UPD that a member of Zachary's group, also known as Tay Bang's group, held a baseball bat and said that he would then spray the players if they came any closer. But you can't spray somebody with a baseball bat. The police report, which continues to delight me, indicates that freshman linebacker David Reese, in addition to defensive back Trey Dean, roommates with Jones, interviewed by investigators after it was determined both, while uninvolved, were at Jones's dorm room during the night of the incident. After returning to his residence hall from a trip to Atlanta, Dean said he noticed several males standing outside the building by their vehicles. They asked Dean if he was a football player, to which he responded no. Dean said he could hear the males talking about Jones, leading him to ask if Jones and the males outside were family members or not. He told investigators he later observed one of those individuals, Tay Bang, with a gun. So they all got low to the floor. So there is a frying pan that was seen on camera being used. Were they cooking eggs, sir?
Back.
No.
Back with you.
And the investigators said there were multiple culprits in the dispute involving the frying pan and airsoft rifles. There was also some lying that went on and some gambling conversation and all that good stuff. So as it turns out, this isn't good. It's been a rough week in headlines for the Florida football program. Freshman defensive back Justin Watkins, 4 charges, 2 felonies, all that good stuff. It was his second arrest in 11 weeks. And as a freshman prior to the 2016 season, you go back, Cleveland and Wells were arrested after they were firing BB guns on campus. Wait a minute! Where's the New York Times? They were subsequently suspended for the season opener last year, and a game in which one of those players was going to miss due to injury. Now there's 9 players suspended for 2017, which occurred with the fraudulent use of the credit card and identity theft. And now we've got frying pans.
Tay Bang is a terrible gambler.
Well, Tay Bang is betting with his heart, man.
He's betting the money line?
Big Daddy Jay could have rolled on into Gainesville, pulled Tay Bang aside and said, Tay, listen, Bang, listen to me. You don't want to put money on Florida. They're not any good.
I think Tay Bang's crew and Big Daddy Jay's crew sound about as different as they possibly can.
Hot damn, Big Daddy's done it again. I think so. But Big Daddy likes to help his fellow gamblers out. I get down with that. So I would have said, Tay, come here. My man, you can't be putting money on UF. Hot damn, Big Daddy's done it again. This is a team destined for a sub-500 campaign, sir. We do not invest in losers.
You might want to bet just, the other team.
We're here to make money, not lose money, Tay. This is a gambling venture in which I'd like to obtain more money, not disperse to others the money in my pocket by betting on losers like Florida, who weekly give you enough overwhelming evidence that suggests they're not going to win a lot of games. Hot damn, Big Daddy's done it again. All of this really could have been easily avoided. Your growing frustrations, which led to a encounter in the parking lot and a frying pan and airsoft rifles, could have been avoided. Your aggravation deflected.
I just like that there was a metanoia for Tay Bang where he decided to go to social media and say, you know what?
Yeah.
Upon reflection.
Hey, everybody. Let me give you my observation about the University of Florida football team and its players.
These guys are bitches.
Soft ass bitches.
Forgive me.
Quote, unquote. Don't get mad at me.
Yeah.
This is a quote. That's what Tay Bang had to say, or Bang had to say.
I'm surprised their on-field play didn't indicate this to me prior to our confrontation.
Good offseason for Florida. Good start for Dan Mullen. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Smoother, bolder, sharper, comfier, smarter, fiercer, tougher, stronger, longer, greater, prouder. Gravely Zero-Turn Mowers.
On sale Friday at 10 a.m. Online at TuckerCivicCenter.com or at the Donald L. Tucker Civic Center box office. Produced by AEG Presents for mature audiences.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer.
Nice Tire and Auto, just minutes away from FSU campus.
Here, do you need headsets?
I don't need no stinking headsets.
Well, then go. Come on, man.
All right. Hi there, Tallahassee. You know me. This is Eddie. You know, I have other restaurants in this town, Gordo's, Banditos. Well, I opened up something new. It's called Bumpa's Local 349. You may ask, what is Bumpa's Local 349? It was named after my grandfather. Bumpa. It's what we called him. Best man I ever knew. And the Local 349 was his union. And I try to bring this local flavor, this local flair of Tallahassee. I want to bring it to you, locally owned and operated. Warm, good food.
Good Lord, man, we're getting all weepy up in here. It's a cool sports pub. It's got TVs everywhere. You got every package. You got a gazillion kinds of beers and delicious food and a deck. We don't need to weep up in here. Come on, Eddie.
And we have 16 local Florida taps. Great craft beer just for you. And the best bologna sandwich you'll ever eat. It's like you just won the lotto. As Bumpa said, no matter how you cut it, it's still bologna.
Bumpa's Local 349, 2738 Capitol Circle Northeast.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left.
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
These days, there's enough to stress about. Do I eat enough kale? Do I eat too much kale? What's the best way to sell my car? What color should I paint the kitchen? Well, at CarMax, we can't help you with the kitchen or the kale, but we can help you sell your car. Because at CarMax, we make real offers, not estimates, so you can sell your car quickly and get back to pondering your leafy greens and picking the perfect paint. CarMax, we buy all the cars.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. It's the most money ever for an offensive lineman in the NFL. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Taylor Lewan of the Titans signs a 5-year, $80 million contract extension with $50 million guaranteed. Falcons offensive lineman Jake Matthews isn't too far behind. He'll get a 5-year extension worth $75 million. ESPN's Chris Mortensen reports Falcons wideout Julio Jones will make $13.4 million this season. That's $2.9 million more under a revised contract. The team is also assuring Jones that there will be good faith negotiations next year on an extension. The Yankees put Aaron Judge on the DL today with a chip fracture in his right wrist. The team says Judge will probably be out for 3 weeks. He got hit by a pitch in the first inning last night against the Royals and left the game 2 innings later after another plate appearance. The baseball trade deadline is just 4 days away. ESPN's Buster Olney says the Yankees may make a move for another bat with Judge's injury. As for other moves to come,
there are going to be a ton of number 4 type starting pitchers,
but I don't think you're going to see the big surprise unless the Washington Nationals drop a couple games here and the ownership throws up its hand and say, you know what, this has been a disappointing year, just sell. And, of course, it would be really interesting if they would throw something together in the last 24 hours with Bryce Harper.
Buster Olney on Golick and Wingo. Michigan State is stopping payments from a $10 million fund earmarked for survivors of Dr. Larry Nassar's sexual abuse. The school wants to investigate possible fraudulent claims. More than $1 million has already been paid out of that fund.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday, brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachian Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Of course, it's always good to hear a little Tom Waits on a Friday. Well, it's good to hear Tom Waits any day, but especially on a Friday. Tay-Bang. Can we? I haven't seen a picture of Tay-Bang. You got a picture of Tay-Bang later?
No, I can look up Tay-Bang and see if I can get a picture for you.
Sad story out of the University of Miami. I guess you would say out of the University of Miami. It's really just about a former Hurricane, but I was sad to see where Tyrone Moss died at the age of 33. Rest in peace to Tyrone Moss. That's awful.
That's one that hits home because he was playing, around my time in undergrad. It's way too young, but still it makes you feel old because it's a long time ago that era of Florida State and Miami football was. Lost decades for the both of them. Miami's just continued a little longer. But Tyrone was a good player, as I recall.
Well, and it's a strange thing. I know it's morbid. I certainly don't want to spend a lot of time on it other than to note it and certainly pay our respects. But, he's 33 years old, and from what I can understand, from what I've read, is that he had some sort of ailing heart condition where his heart was functioning at a very low percentage, and he just passed away. So sorry to hear that. It's weird, too. You're reminded of eras like you just said with guys. It's really sad when you're talking about somebody who's only 33 years old, good Lord. But, as soon as you hear the name, you're taken back to that era of where they were in their program, where we were in our program, which isn't good for either at the time. And but you can think of specific runs and games. One of the things I love about football is, again, you can remember the style of runner somebody was, or receiver, or quarterback, or whatever the player was. And I remember how big his legs were. You remember that? I mean, that's the first thing I thought. I was like, that guy had huge legs.
Yeah, when I was a freshman up at Iona was his most prolific year. He rushed 137 times for 701 yards. But you're right. Yeah, just how stout.
Oh, yeah. He had huge legs. That was, most running backs do, but no, he had massive legs. But he got hurt. I remember he got hurt, and then that was the end of any potential NFL career. It's strange. I will note this. I think, and I'm going by memory here, but I think he had like an ACL or an MCL or whatever. And even Tom, think about this. He was with the Canes in what, 04, 05? What you just said, 04, 05?
Yeah, 03 to 06.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, good. I'm just remembering things. That's good to know that's still there. So that said, he gets hurt, and I don't think he ever played in the league. And the weird thing is, he was a guy, when you saw him, you thought, that dude might play in the league.
Right. Some players aren't prolific in college, but they translate
because their body type or whatever,
They might be a complementary piece in the league or something along those lines. He played 8 games his senior year, just 8 games his junior year, but the carries went down from 100 and whatever I just said, 107 down to in the, way under 100, 60, 70, somewhere in there. I shouldn't have closed the window.
No,
with his stats.
Listen, we're just going by memory here again. For some of this, the point was to just say RIP, but it's interesting when you're able to identify, just because we've so intently paid attention to college football, and in particular the rivalry. And the kinds of play. Yesterday it was a much more joyous occasion. We were talking about what would 2013 Florida State look like against 2001 Miami, and how good a game that would be, and how talented. And that gets me to this, because I was asked a question about this online. A couple people wrote in some questions for the show, and I appreciate that. We talked about the 2013 team, which I talked about being unbelievably dominant in the margin of victory. And Andrew wrote an email in saying that, why does everybody think the 2013 FSU team was so great? Good, I'll admit, but great, he questions. And he wrote, yeah, I knew they blew through the competition and went undefeated, but their competition was terrible that year. Their biggest rivals, Florida and Miami, were 4-8 and 6-6 respectively. The average record of all their opponents was 6-6. That's lame. And of all the BCS teams to play in the championship game, which includes both winners and losers, the 2013 FSU team had the weakest strength of schedule than all of them. Credit given for beating a good Clemson team along the way. And they did beat a good, but let's be honest, lucky one-loss Auburn team to win it all, as he talked about, and that came down to the wire. So when ESPN released their top 20 best championship teams of the past 20 years, all I see on Twitter from FSU fans is how dominant 2013 State was, and that they'd blow out all the other teams listed. What am I missing here, Andy? Well, here's what I would say, Andy. Your argument about schedule strength, I understand, because that was a problem even for people assessing that Florida State team that year. I would just look at the draft. I would look at relative talent on both sides of the ball and how stocked that FSU team was. Seldom do you see a team with that many players drafted starting on both sides of the football across the board the way the 2013 team was. They were all not only dominant college players, but players that were thought of and highly regarded by the ultimate level of football in the National Football League.
Yeah, one thing I'd offer too is Clemson, who was really good that year, did end up beating Ohio State in the Orange Bowl. So, it wasn't the New Year's Six yet. It was there was the BCS circuit. And they beat Ohio State. They beat Georgia to begin that season. And that's a team that Florida State annihilated in the course of making its way.
And he wrote good credit for beating a good Clemson team. But I think that's underselling it a little bit, Andy. They beat that Clemson team like a drum in their backyard on the road at night, and it was a good Clemson team, a real good Clemson team.
Real good Clemson team. Yeah. That's the point I would make, is that, yes, there may not be litany of examples.
I'm telling you, the Florida State team, that 2013 team, which gets voted fourth there using that standard, is hurt because of the closeness of the championship game. If that game had gone the way the others had, there's really it's okay. Look, in any given year, your really good teams, whether that's Clemson or Alabama or anybody else that's great in a given year, are going to play at least 8 games against teams that are outclassed. It's what you do against those teams. It's not just beating them. It's that Florida State beat them like a drum, beat them by an average of 42.3 points. 13 games they average beating teams by just over 6 touchdowns a game. So it's when you play somebody who isn't as good as you or is not on your level, what do you do to them? And again, you find that 0-1 Miami team, which I don't argue is one of the greatest teams of all time. 2-point game against Virginia Tech, an ugly win against BC. They didn't do to their schedule with all of that talent what we did in 13 to our schedule. And you'll find those teams, a lot of times that margin does kind of indicate at least the degree of dominance.
One thing I will agree with him on is that, Miami was 6-6, and yes, they were a top 10 team when we played them, but everybody in the world knew that week that was a farce. And we were rooting, actually, in a way, for Miami to come back against Wake Forest the week prior.
Well, they barely did to get it done.
To help bolster, because we knew that game was a complete farce. That was maybe 1 versus 23, not 1 versus 10. It was that type of matchup.
I didn't think that Miami team was any good.
Yeah. But we were hoping that they would actually be a top 10 team because we would get game day, all the extra pub, all that stuff.
Yeah, I think you go on and look at all the guys that got drafted where they did, and I think you're talking about, in totality, a group of 22 starters that, you just don't see that. Usually there's an area of weakness. Usually there's something where you could go,
Freeman was a good but not, focal player on that team. He was a role player with James Wilder.
He's become, yeah.
Right. He's a freak.
Oh, that Texas team that was voted one, there was a whole lot of Vince Young being a transcendent college football player. He was. And that's what it was going to take for Mack Brown to win anything. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Smoother, bolder, sharper, comfier, smarter, fiercer, tougher, stronger, longer, greater, prouder. Gravely Zero-Turn Mowers.
Call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. In Tallahassee, you have been fantastic. We have passed the halfway point to a new transport van for Big Bend Hospice. By my calculation, we still need 42 more new Nissans by the end of the month to reach our goal. And seriously, it is a great time to buy a new Nissan from Kraft. We have 0% interest for 60 months on every new Nissan, and the best incentives we've ever had. Listen up, Kraft Nissan has $5,000 off of 2018 Rogues, Altimas, Muranos, Maximas, and Pathfinders. You heard right, $5,000 off of 2018 Rogues, Altimas, Muranos, Maximas, and Pathfinders. You get a great price on a new Kraft Nissan, and you're helping a great cause in hospice. And remember, Kraft Nissan is donating $100 to the Big Bend Hospice for every new Nissan sold now through July 31st. Not in the market for a new car? Stop by Kraft, and we will match your personal check up to $100 made out to the Big Bend Hospice. This hospice transport van is that important. 42 and counting. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
Ugh, can you please turn on the AC? Welcome to Florida, honey. It's freaking hot. I think I know how it feels to be hot. I was born here. Hi, this is Sarah with Seminole Auto Glass. High temperatures can cause that chip in your windshield to crack and spread, impacting your car safety and visibility. With Florida Full Coverage Insurance, windshield replacement is free, so choose the local company you know and trust. Seminole Auto Glass, 850-539-4527 or at SeminoleAutoGlass.com, because no one takes care of your car like Seminole Auto Glass.
At Superlube, we pride ourselves on keeping your car maintained properly with our 20-point inspection. And right now at Superlube, take advantage of our half-price fuel system cleaning service to help restore engine performance and enhance gas mileage. Superlube offers quick and convenient service, and you'll never need an appointment. So come into Superlube today, get your oil changed, and a whole lot more. Superlube, with 19 area locations, there's probably one right around the corner right now.
How I love to Superlube my car, yes sir!
The Jeff Cameron Show. Weekdays 3 to 6 on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at ctf.nu.
I'm Jim Cook, brewer of Sam Adams, here to tell you about Sam 76, a revolutionary beer, a fusion of ale and lager fermentation. Sam 76 gives you the taste and hoppy character of an IPA with the clean, crisp finish of a lager. When you put a craft ale and lager together, you get a sound you've never heard before. Crushable craft beer. Sam 76, in a can because only a dumbass would try to crush a bottle. Boston Beer Company, Boston, Mass. Savor the flavor responsibly.
Have you ever noticed when you report an accident or a claim to an insurance company, they are very eager to get you to one of their approved body shops. They say that they guarantee the shops work, but what they're really saying is the shop works for them, not the customer. So choose a shop that is working for and looking out for you, someone you trust. It's your choice. Lisa's Paint and Body.
License number MP46050.
You know what? It's time you level up your lemon lime with clear, refreshing Mountain Dew Ice. We get it. You're used to a certain kind of lemon lime experience. But why settle for this when you could have this? You want a fist bump that ends in one of those fake explosions?
Hey, Charles.
Or a fist bump that ends in an actual explosion?
Hey, Charles.
Want to pull up to the party on this? Or arrive in this? Take this last second shot? Or make the last second shot? Make this musical request? Or this one? So yeah, you can keep drinking the same old, but we think you'll like the exploding fist bump, last second shot, showing up to the party properly way to lemon lime, right? Mountain Dew Ice. Clear, refreshing lemon lime, redefined.
Kohl's home sale is going on now. Stop in and pick up Cuddle Dud sheets for only $29.99. A 6-quart Instant Pot is just $99.99. A 6-quart New Wave Air Fryer is $129.99. And all Yankee candles are 25% off. Plus, take an extra 20% off when you spend $100 or more with promo code LEAF. You'll get Kohl's Cash too. Right now at Kohl's. Select styles. Offer valid October 12th through 22nd. Some exclusions apply. See store or kohls.com for details.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio. WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. It's the most money ever for an offensive lineman in the NFL. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Taylor Lewan of the Titans signs a 5-year, $80 million contract extension with $50 million guaranteed. Falcons offensive lineman Jake Matthews isn't too far behind. He'll get a 5-year extension worth $75 million. ESPN's Chris Mortensen reports Falcons wideout Julio Jones will make $13.4 million this season. That's $2.9 million more under a revised contract. The team is also assuring Jones that there will be good faith negotiations next year on an extension. The Yankees put Aaron Judge on the DL today with a chip fracture in his right wrist. The team says Judge will probably be out for 3 weeks. He got hit by a pitch in the first inning last night against the Royals and left the game 2 innings later after another plate appearance. The baseball trade deadline is just 4 days away. ESPN's Buster Olney says the Yankees may make a move for another bat with Judge's injury. As for other moves to come,
there are going to be a ton of number 4 type starting pitchers, but I don't think you're going to see the big surprise unless the Washington Nationals drop a couple games here and the ownership throws up its hand and say, you know what, this has been a disappointing year, just sell. And, of course, it would be really interesting if they would throw something together in the last 24 hours with Bryce Harper.
Buster Olney on Golick and Wingo. Michigan State is stopping payments from a $10 million fund earmarked for survivors of Dr. Larry Nassar's sexual abuse. The school wants to investigate possible fraudulent claims. More than $1 million has already been paid out of that fund.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio, Libations Friday edition. Somebody did find it. Somebody noted on a loosey-goosey edition of the program that yesterday's call for a worldwide search of just a plain 12-pack of Michelob. It can be done. A listener found it and took a picture and sent it in. I don't know, man. Something didn't look right about that.
You think that photo's from 2004?
No, it didn't. The bottle, I think they've messed up the bottle.
Well, the bottle might not be the same, and they're calling it Michelob Lager these days.
They're really, just stop it. Anyhow, I'm moving on.
I have to say, as not a lager guy, Britain, if you're in the UK, England, go with the lagers. They're fantastic there.
And lagers are pretty average even at their best, but sure.
No, I mean,
I've been there.
There are some winners.
As much as a lager can be a winner.
Oh, man.
I mean, there's plenty of, I'm not saying I've never had one. It's just, they're okay. You know what I did just now? Something that I think is interesting. I went back and looked at video of Mark Richt talking about Malik Rozier, whom he said recently is definitely their starter. And I celebrated that fact during the break. I said, all right, that's what I want to hear, Mark. That's what you do. Well, the reason I did that is we were talking about football in general, but we were just talking about, unfortunately, a sad passing of former Cane Tyrone Moss, running back. And I started thinking about, again, the season and pivotal games and moments and things that have to happen for us, but also the teams we're playing against and what question marks are out there. And next hour we'll play the Justin Fuente interview in which he talks about, the turbulent offseason and what his expectations are and some of their challenges. And I was thinking, let's assume for a moment you get that win and you're all where you want to be before the Miami game. The biggest battle Florida State will have to face, the uphill climb to overcome and get a win on the road against the Canes, is a very, very, very good defense. And Miami has that. And so I started thinking of areas where we could exploit problems for Miami, and I immediately turned to their quarterback, who's not any good. And I wanted to see what Rick would say, but I didn't get to interview Mark at the ACC kickoff. I didn't get a chance to speak to him, which I wish I would have. But he interviewed right next to where I was, and he was also on camera. And I went back. You could find their coverage, the Herald's coverage of Rick talking. So I went back during the break to watch that. And you know how you like to – I do the same thing. We read into coaches' body language and sort of the message, the hidden message behind the
it's the
talking
same
points.
You do this with any politics, and be it primary season or election season. You look to see if somebody, first of all, likes the question, and then based upon that body language, you make a judgment on what they're actually saying afterwards. Yeah.
And also when they manipulate the opportunity to answer the question they wished were asked as opposed to the one that was, and all that good stuff. So one of the first questions he gets is about Rozier, and it occurs to me, again, we've got two head coaches in the state, really all three to some extent, whom when they get in front of a camera are going to be asked first and foremost about the quarterbacks. And Willie Taggart at the ACC kickoff, when he was introduced, and each team in the conference is on the main stage once, where the pool of reporters there covering the event are all seated in what is a giant banquet room, and they have the big video board. Most of you have seen the footage. The big video board behind them. It's the coach and the two player representatives. They stand before the mic, and then mics are passed around to the ACC media and others, the national media, to ask questions. Willie noted, because there's also a moderator and a person who will tell you when time is up and we need to move on. That person said, final question. And Willie went, this is the final question? And then chuckled because I was wondering where he was going to go. And he said, I haven't been asked about the quarterbacks yet? Okay. And he thought that was great. But then he took the opportunity to talk about the quarterbacks. And he's used to that being the first question. I'm sure Dan Mullen, when he's not talking about his guys getting in trouble off the field and the myriad of problems that UF finds themselves in now, is being asked about quarterback play because they haven't had good quarterback play in a long time. And then obviously we've seen it from Mark Richt, because the question last year at the end of the season was, what's going on at quarterback? You had the situation with Malik pouting, sitting on the bench, looking like he had seen a ghost, the whole deal. And he's asked this question again to start that interview, and he says, look, I'll just say that I've had a chance to go back and look at the film again from last year, and obviously we went through spring, and Malik is the starter. There's no doubt he's the starter. And I'm not sure there's anybody that's going to have a chance to unseat him before this first game against LSU. I just think he's in that good a place. When I went back and looked again, I realized that, I've got to get better at giving him more opportunities, and the guys around him have to block better. And also, I think another year will help him learn how to be a leader that we're expecting. And it was as if the descriptors of why he was so bad in the second half of the season, it was quite clearly he was trying to deflect. And it's also understood that these questions are fair, and he knows that, and yet he's trying to pump up his guy. But what it told me was that, man, N'Kosi Perry is what's he doing?
Right. Yeah. Nothing.
Clearly nothing.
It worries him. Their schedule, if I recall, so it's LSU, then it's pretty easy, right? Mm-hmm. Until they get to our game, or at least they get a couple of tune-ups afterwards. So what he's saying is one camp is not enough time for anybody else to emerge. So I have to have this kid believe that I'm standing squarely behind him. If I have to reassess the position after the LSU game, then so be it. But it's almost like a bowl game in that sense.
Yeah.
Leading up to the LSU game, I have to go all in for him and let me figure stuff out after fall camp in one game if there needs to be a change made.
Well, I bring it up by way of comparison to Florida State's situation. Are we in a perfect situation at quarterback? No, but you certainly have to take great comfort in going into a season, if in fact DeAndre Francois has done a 180 here, and knowing that you got two guys that have started basically an entire season. You have two guys that have played through full seasons of football as the starter. And if their attitude is right, and we know certainly Blackman's is, then you've got loads of experience and a decent amount of talent. I think Florida State, from a standpoint of talent level, ought to be at a different place at quarterback than we currently are. But at least in terms of experience and ability to win football games, those two guys have shown they can do that.
So Miami's schedule is LSU, followed by Savannah State at Toledo. Then they host FIU before a Thursday night game against North Carolina.
Who's terrible, by the way.
Right. So you have all the time in the world to reassess with live game reps. You can see what N'Kosi Perry brings to the table at live speed by the time you get to the North Carolina game. You'll probably have, 50, 60 throws on tape of his from in a game? So you just got to go all in. He believes there's no chance. If he believed there was any chance that Perry could compete, that wouldn't be his talking point. He wouldn't be deflecting. He'd be challenging Rozier.
Two things here to look at when you're talking about that Miami schedule. The North Carolina game is also a game, they're hosting that game on a Thursday night, that they could probably run anybody they want out there with the redshirt rule. Literally, you could see some of these other guys, incoming guys, and all of that. I don't think North Carolina is going to be any good. I think Larry Fedora is on the verge of seeing his career end at North Carolina. But this is just big picture stuff. So they're hosting that game. So if your defense carries you to a win against LSU in the first game, you're going to be undefeated hosting Florida State. But then it gets interesting to me because while they should go and cruise and win at Virginia, Bronco Mendenhall, by the way, better be careful. This hasn't gotten off to a great start there. We thought it might, but it's not.
It was an important game last year that he let slip away, and then the year prior against Louisville. They've had a couple of opportunities for those landmark moments that they didn't cash in on.
But be careful. The game I'm going to tell you to circle on Miami's schedule is the 7 o'clock kickoff on October the 26th. Miami against Boston College on the road. A physical team that plays very good defense hosting that game. Watch that game very carefully.
Yeah, it's good for Miami in that the Canes have a bye week leading into that game, but so does Boston College. Mm-hmm. So they're on even footing there for preparation purposes. That is a good Friday night treat, is it not?
It's a great treat, just as it was a great treat to watch Syracuse beat Clemson on a Friday night. Friday night games are weird. They're oftentimes ugly. They're kind of odd atmospheres. Frequently, you see a team that is the more noted team, the one that is a heavy favorite, go on the road and play in venues like Boston College or Syracuse, like we talked about, where the atmosphere is absolutely nil, and you got to muster up your own enthusiasm. And if those teams, who are the lesser tier teams, are allowed to hang around, it gets just kind of odd. Think back to us on the road against Boston College on a Friday night. Think back to, obviously last year, I just mentioned Clemson losing on the road to Syracuse. And by the way, before the injury, they were in trouble in that game.
It was a Friday that we played them and won 14-0, right?
Yes,
Back
it was
in,
awful. And
15.
you and I were sitting there going, there's nothing to this. And it felt like, man, you got to be careful here. You make a couple mistakes, we could be in trouble.
Yeah, the biggest play of the game was Golson spinning out of a safety,
which we were really happy about because, as it turned out, that turned out to be vital.
Yeah, they couldn't get over midfield hardly.
No, I don't think BC did they?
They may. I think they
Maybe
did
once
with
late?
With the Flutie kid. Didn't they have Flutie come in?
Yeah, that's right. But then again, look, this year it's Miami on the road on a Friday night against, I think, a very good Boston College team. It's a surprise team. That's a team that could finish third in the Atlantic, BC. That's a team that, if you're not careful, that I hate where they're situated on our schedule. I hate it because you go from on the road at Notre Dame, coming off that stretch against Clemson, NC State, Notre Dame, to before the Florida game. Now, I know we're supposed to beat Florida soundly, but it's a rivalry game, and if it's sandwiched as it is between Notre Dame and Florida, you could very easily overlook BC. Now, what likely helps us is we lost to them 35-3 last year. So there's no shortage of talking points and reminders. Also, there will be no confusion as to what Boston College is at that point. By the time you play them that part of the season, if they're the surprise of college football and they've put together a really good record, they have a brutal schedule, so they may not put together a really good record. But
well, the good news for them, too, is the previous two the brutal schedule does take place for them in that half of the
BC's
season.
schedule is unbelievable.
So
it's UMass, Holy Cross, better start out 2-0, Wake Forest 3-0. But I don't know that you're going to beat Purdue.
Yeah.
Prom's got to go in there, and you're on the road.
That's a classic 17-13 game, isn't it?
Purdue will score more than that. Purdue can throw it around the lot a little bit. But I understand what you're saying. By the way, Boston College secondary, one of the best in the country. Temple against Boston College is a BC win, but then it's BC on the road at NC State. Louisville, okay, here we go, right?
Yep, this is it right here.
Miami, Virginia Tech, Clemson, Florida State.
Yeah.
That's good for us.
So they're going to come in weary. Yes. Yeah.
I would like to think. Then they get to cap it off against Syracuse. But I think this could be a front-loaded run for Adazio early on, right?
Yeah, right. What's the over-under on their win total? 7.5? That's because they get Virginia Tech late. If they got them in September, that might help tip the scales the other way.
Well, in Miami, I think that's Virginia Tech late on the road, right? So that gets interesting.
They do, I believe. That's
yeah. BC 1-0, 2-0, 3-0. Boy, what a war, BC and Purdue.
Yeah.
On the 22nd, buddy.
Put it
Circle
3-1.
it. Put it on your calendar. 3-1. What kind of heaven am I going to be in? BC and Purdue. I got the Purdue shirt.
Yes, you do.
I surely have some BC gear somewhere. What a conflicted afternoon that's going to be. It's a nooner, Tom.
That is a nooner. Of course it is.
That's a nooner.
Of course it is.
Yeah,
That'll be the game they throw to after game day.
The 22nd, we're home to Northern Illinois.
Ooh, all right. Got some competing.
I got to buckle in on that. The 22nd is going to be a toughie, buddy.
Strap it up.
Yeah, we got big-time college football going on the 22nd. Start my day with a little BC, Purdue, and Florida State, Northern Illinois. Woo!
Ouch.
I'm actually nervous. I'll be nervous about BC, NC State on the road. Got to tell Dave Doran to suck it. Got to make sure you get that win.
Right, yep.
Yeah, got to get that win.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Let me give away some tickets.
I thought you were going to go with the 3-word thing, not the 2-word thing.
No,
so there we go. Yeah.
What do we want to give away? WWE?
Yeah, you got to get here soon.
You got to be here in the next 45 minutes as the people that are helping with us out there in the lobby will not be here after 5. So you better race.
Okay.
You better race here. If you can get here in the next 45 minutes, I got A pair or two pair?
A pair, one pair.
I got a singular pair of tickets to WWE for tomorrow night at the Tucker Center. Pair of tickets, WWE, right now. If you can get here before 5, caller 1-523-3776. Go!
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Smoother, bolder, sharper, comfier, smarter, fiercer, tougher, stronger, longer, greater, prouder. Gravely zero-turn mowers.
Acknowledging trade as their career choice. These are the people that you want working on your roof. We've been servicing the community since 1995. Call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
CGC 042221, CCC 049350.
Are you looking for a trucking company you can work with till retirement? Do you want to feel like you're part of a family instead of just a truck number? If so, join the Early Trucking family that's been trucking for 25 years. ETC offers a benefit package that's second to none, including a 401k, paid vacations, sick leave, health insurance, Aflac group rates, and long-term care with only 2 health questions and a $1,000 signing bonus. They have regional dry van, hopper, and tanker lines available, home every weekend or more. Go to earlytruckingcompany.com to fill out an application. Help ETC keep agriculture in motion.
Don't start your day off with the same old boring breakfast. Stop by the Bagel Market and Bistro on Thomasville Road and the Persimmon Hills Shopping Plaza. They have fresh baked bagels and cream cheese every Monday for only $1.50. Green smoothies and great salads like the spinach apple salad. Muffins and cinnamon rolls are also options for breakfast. Sandwiches, salads, and more for lunch and dinner. Open 7 days a week. Check them out online at thebagelmarketandbistro.com or on Facebook and give them a call at 765-0598.
So, Jeff.
Yeah.
I run into these ladies named Kathy and Grace.
Mm-hmm.
They love you, by the way.
Oh, they're smart people already.
Oh, my gosh. And darling ladies. They were at Bumpus, and they were telling me how they went to Gordo's and that it wasn't open yet. And I said, no, we are open, ma'am.
I could have assured them that it is most definitely open.
It is open, and it'll be open until Sunday.
Ouch.
So we're closing on the 30th, and we'll be moving this week. We'll be in process of moving. Now, I know it's sad. I've been there for...
I'm a little emotional. I love the old Gordo's. You're telling me the new Gordo's is going to be better, though?
Well, the Gordo's and Market Square, the old Gordo's on Pensacola Street...
It's not going anywhere.
Still open. Still open, going to be there.
For life.
I hope so, God willing. And if you're on this side of town, you can always come eat at Bumpus.
New one is open when? A week, 2 weeks, something like that?
I'm shooting for a week, Jeff.
All right, I like it.
Shooting for a week and
same
maybe
great
2.
Food, same mahi, new drink specials,
new
more
drink
beer?
specials, more beers. We'll have a patio.
All right.
We're going to have, with fans and everything. It's going to be highfalutin, Jeff.
Highfalutin, the new Gordo's in a week or 2. And in the meantime, go to Bumpus.
In the meantime, please come check out Bumpus.
All right. Yay, new Gordo's. We'll see you soon.
Right on.
The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at ctf.nu.
Switch gears to NFL. This doesn't bode well for us. I like Gil Brandt an awful lot. Old man's been around football forever and a day. And he was predicting numbers for the season, and he has Drew Brees finishing the year with the most passing yards in all of the NFL at 4,600.
I really enjoy watching Drew Brees play, but I thought his career would have been over by,
really was ready for Drew Brees' career to be over some time ago.
2015, 2016.
Do you know that he threw for 4,334 yards last year? It was the first time that he dropped below 4,600 yards passing for a season since 2009. Do we not give Drew Brees enough credit? That's insane.
Probably not, but if we do, can he go away? Can he go play somewhere else?
I mean, that's just, damn it, man. Now, he threw fewer passes than he has in an awful long time, and that's because of Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. But good God, man. That's really ridiculous. By the way, he's got Aaron Rodgers throwing for the most touchdown passes, which is usually a pretty safe bet. But he only threw, he got hurt last year, and he's averaged, I was looking at some of these numbers, since Aaron Rodgers became a starter in 2008, he's averaged 35 touchdowns a year.
Oh, okay. That's not bad.
Have yourself a career, man.
Shade over 2 a game. There's 14 points on the board.
It's unimaginable, man. That's really, really impressive. And then as we were going through, I love looking at these numbers. He's got Leonard Fournette finishing the year with the most rushing touchdowns. And last year, he was tied for third. But the Jaguars, and this is important to note, the Jaguars ran the ball 527 times in 2017. 527, that was the most in the NFL last year, and it makes perfect sense. You got an average quarterback, and you got a good running game and a great defense, so play to it.
Well, they fit together perfectly. I mean, it's like the Marshawn Lynch Seattle Seahawks phenomenon. Now, yes, Russell Wilson was there too, but these two things complement each other. If you're hard-nosed defensively, what's better than that? Other than guys being dudes, it's Leonard Fournette.
It's a fun list when you do preseason things, not so much to project what you think a team will be or a player will do, because you got to consider, if you're going to look at running backs and rushing touchdowns, I would have thrown in Todd Gurley, who's unbelievable. You can throw in Le'Veon Bell. I think you can throw in Saquon Barkley, who I do believe is going to hit the ground running and have a great career and play really well in New York right off the bat, and they'll give it to him. You always got to consider Ezekiel Elliott. But then you also have to look at a guy like Jordan Howard at Chicago.
Well, I think it's really fascinating what the Giants' offense is going to look like, given that they were basically an air raid style offense, 4 and 5 wide all the damn time. They were hardly ever in any kind of two-back or tight end back personnel, unless the tight end was split out. If they're under center or in pistol a little bit more, maybe it opens up the passing game that was 80% of their offense. So that's a really fascinating side story. And I had Matthew look it up because I couldn't remember who exactly it was. But for that Aaron Rodgers number, Jimmy Graham is now in Green Bay, lest we forget.
But Jimmy hadn't done a damn thing in some time. I mean, he didn't do much in Seattle.
No, but that offense was never really focal pointing Jimmy Graham.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers has a way of making guys better, and I would think his baseline is still really high.
Aaron Rodgers has a way of making guys better is an understatement, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I do want to see him have another. I think if I were a Green Bay fan, and why am I talking NFL? Well, they're getting into camps this week. It's starting, and we didn't get a chance to expound further on Jameis Winston meeting with the media. Of all the guys, so we're talking about talented players that have put up numbers, players that you could project to put up numbers, and you can go through and look at the Aaron Rodgers no-brainer every year. When you're looking at passing touchdowns, you're looking at Ben Roethlisberger, Matthew Stafford, Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees, all these great players, obviously Tom Brady. But as I was doing that, I was thinking on the sure things and guys that have been pretty consistent, and I realized just awfully hard to know what Jameis Winston's going to do. You have to factor in the 3-game suspension, of course, and then decrease the numbers based on that. But I don't know how he's going to react to what has been, obviously, a painful offseason. He sounded like a guy, as you noted yesterday, fighting back emotion to get through that press conference. I think I know the many reasons why, but he's brought a lot of this on himself. In the same sentence, you have to note that I understand his frustrations, but I also understand why he's obviously being ripped. I don't know the nature of that locker room. I think it's going to be a very interesting thing. Do they still trust that guy?
Well, I mean, they've been asked, Dirk and Fitzpatrick, and I think they have to do this. This is one place where I won't get mad at them about, is Jameis the Week 4 starter, and they're not committing to it. And that's fine because you have to rally behind Fitz for 3 games. Hell or high water, he's your guy. Jameis can't make it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he's getting benched for a game. The coach's decision. It's an NFL suspension. But if you have to go through that for a month and the talking point is, well, we don't know who our Week 4 starter is that another layer of something that adds, between the ears for Jameis? There's just a lot for him to sort out. Frankly, the more he can not pay attention to anything that goes on social media-wise or, print media or web media, the better off he's going to be because all it is just going to be talk until Week 4. Then once he starts playing, that'll start to die down.
Of the new starters, Baker Mayfield in Cleveland, of the new quarterbacks, obviously Tyrod Taylor is going to start in Cleveland, but of the new quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield in Cleveland, Sam Darnold with the Jets, Josh Allen with the Buffalo Bills, Josh Rosen with the Arizona Cardinals, Lamar Jackson with the Baltimore Ravens, Mason Rudolph with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, I'm just looking at all these guys. The Laletta kid with the Giants. He's not going to replace Eli Manning or Davis Webb. Who do you think gets out there the soonest?
Ooh, it's
Josh Rosen, right?
Or Darnold. It's probably.
But I mean, it's Bradford's job to lose. But I think Bradford could lose the job.
He could. They got a lot of weapons in Arizona. I think that's the quickest path to success is actually the one in Arizona. Landry Jones may play. Not Landry Jones.
Baker Mayfield?
No. Give me the guy.
Josh Allen. Josh Allen with the Bills?
The Oklahoma State kid who's playing in Pittsburgh.
Mason Rudolph.
Excuse me. Okay. Mm-hmm. Landry Jones was their backup. But
yeah, Mason Rudolph ain't getting out there anytime.
I think he may play a game or two this year because Ben usually gets hurt for a game or two. So he might be able to see the field. It's not because he's going to earn a starting job.
Here's your problem for Sam Darnold, by the way. Teddy Bridgewater's with the Jets.
Yeah, this is true.
I mean, Teddy Bridgewater, if healthy, will beat out Josh McCown.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So Teddy Bridgewater, if I'm a Jets fan, all I can do is sit around hoping that he's completely healthy and the guy we saw prior to getting hurt in Minnesota because he was coming. He was coming on. And, I don't know what he's going to be. We haven't seen him in forever, but I root for that kid. If he's healthy, he's better than Josh McCown. And that would mean you can let Sam Darnold, I guess, wait a year.
Yeah. So maybe it's Buffalo and Josh Allen.
And here's why it's Josh Allen, because he's got to beat out A.J. McCarron and Nathan Peterman. I mean,
right.
What the hell are we doing here? You might as well. I mean, honestly,
yeah,
throw him out there, man.
Well, I think Rosen is the quickest one who can succeed, again, because you got Fitzgerald for another year. You got Johnson in the backfield. I mean, there's a lot to work with in Arizona. And that's why they went and got a rental in Bradford because they don't think they're that far off.
No, listen, you and I are in agreement on this in the sense that we both think Josh Rosen's going to be a good player if he can stay healthy. Bradford never does stay healthy, so Rosen is likely going to get some playing time this year, but I also think he's the most ready-made. So
I really like the pick of Rudolph. I don't know about his arm strength, but he has that toughness in the pocket, physicality. Guys bounce off of him. The first rusher, it's not the same as Ben. Nobody really will be to extend plays. But he's not, a guy who fumbles. He's not. That's the question about Rosen, for example, in Arizona. That's the number one thing is, all right, he's not Aaron Rodgers mobile. He's a little bit pocket mobile, but he will go down and take shots, and his body doesn't react very well to contact.
No, it doesn't. I think the most intriguing storyline, though, is, again, Baker Mayfield in Cleveland. I know Tyrod Taylor, a league average quarterback, was brought in to hold it down, and they've added a lot of pieces. Listen, Vegas has them at over under 5.5. They didn't win a game. So, how far into the season do you need to be before you decide to turn it over to Baker Mayfield?
I think it's farther now unless they go get Des Bryant. And the reason I say that is because Josh Gordon is having anxiety issues, and they don't know how much he's going to be playing in the 2018 season. It's not about drugs. It's about anxiety and personal health. And so he's removed himself from the team to go get that personal side sorted out. Right. Dude's a freak, but if he's not going to play, I don't want Baker out there sooner than later. Let Tyrod deal with whoever he needs to deal with.
I just tell you what, man, if you're Cleveland or a Cleveland fan, are you just like, well, good God, man, can we not have anything nice? Can we not? I mean, we got a guy we know can play, but he's a mess.
They could have probably swung Saquon and Baker if they wanted it, though. That's the craziness of that draft.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Smoother, bolder, sharper, comfier, smarter, fiercer, tougher, stronger, longer, greater, prouder. Gravely Zero-Turn Mowers.
Shower up with style.
Call today. Whitten Glass, the real glass people. 222-5781 or online at whittenglass.com. WHIDDON. Whitten, Tallahassee's first family in glass since 1945. 222-5781.
Get your weekend started right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the three amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina. And presented by Hobbit American Grill and Mike's Marine Supply.
Change your life with a career in a year at Lively Tech. 38 career in a year programs available. Medical assistant, pharmacy tech, welding, diesel mechanic, automotive, massage, HVAC, electricity, cosmetology, barbering, digital design, and building trades. Full-time, part-time, and nighttime schedules are available for most programs. Enrollment opportunities provided for local high school students. Financial aid is available for those who qualify. Visit livelytech.com for more information. Change your life and enroll now. Lively Tech. Your career starts here.
Summer is heating up, and so are the Makita deals at Cornerstone Tool & Fastener. Purchase a brushless premium 5-amp-hour hammer drill impact kit and receive your choice of a free bare tool and a free 6-amp-hour battery. That's a $260 value free. Makita introduces one battery, one tool for all your outdoor power equipment needs. Buy a commercial-grade Makita shafted string trimmer and add any other attachment, plus receive a matching blower free. A $189 value for free. Cornerstone Tool & Fastener with 2 locations to choose from, 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. It's the most money ever for an offensive lineman in the NFL. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Taylor Lewan of the Titans signs a 5-year, $80 million contract extension with $50 million guaranteed. Falcons offensive lineman Jake Matthews isn't too far behind. He'll get a 5-year extension worth $75 million. ESPN's Chris Mortensen reports Falcons wideout Julio Jones will make $13.4 million this season. That's $2.9 million more under a revised contract. The team is also assuring Jones that there will be good faith negotiations next year on an extension. The Yankees put Aaron Judge on the DL today with a chip fracture in his right wrist. The team says Judge will probably be out for 3 weeks. He got hit by a pitch in the first inning last night against the Royals and left the game 2 innings later after another plate appearance. The baseball trade deadline is just 4 days away. ESPN's Buster Olney says the Yankees may make a move for another bat with Judge's injury. As for other moves to come,
there are going to be a ton of number 4 type starting pitchers, but I don't think you're going to see the big surprise unless the Washington Nationals drop a couple games here and the ownership throws up its hand and say, you know what, this has been a disappointing year, just sell. And, of course, it would be really interesting if they would throw something together in the last 24 hours with Bryce Harper.
Buster Olney on Golick and Wingo. Michigan State is stopping payments from a $10 million fund earmarked for survivors of Dr. Larry Nassar's sexual abuse. The school wants to investigate possible fraudulent claims. More than $1 million has already been paid out of that fund.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday, brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachian Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
I was looking at something today that Pete Futek wrote. Really part of a series that they're doing over there at CFN with the kind of a 5-year program analysis. And this time they do a 5-year program analysis, conference winning percentage rankings by league. And you just go through, and the idea being, look, obviously you play big games out of the conference, but oftentimes how you do in conference dictates the way fans feel about where you're at as a program. And how are you playing within your own league. And so they didn't count the league championships and anything like this, but just regular season conference records only with the winning percentage, the element of a 5-year program analysis, right, for the conferences. And you start in the ACC where it's obvious Clemson's number 1 at 35-5 with an 87% win clip in conference. We were 30-10, so 5 worse. That's it. And really speaks to really the last couple of years.
Right. We're thankful.
Well, last year, sweet Jesus.
Yeah, so if it's a 5-year analysis, that's, do my math quickly, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. Yeah, so the first 2 years we didn't have any conference losses,
that's
and
right.
We're really bowing up thanks to those 2 seasons.
Yeah, it put us in second in the ACC at a 75% win clip. You know who's third?
Third would be...
I thought this would be fascinating. I know you don't like me to blindside you like this, but I think you're going to represent the informed Florida State fan looking at the ACC and just sort of, who do you think? What does it feel like? I don't expect you to know the win percentage of Pitt or North Carolina over the last 5 years, but what do you think? Who do you think finished third? Who do you think finished in the top 5?
All right, third, I would have to guess Virginia Tech. Probably not. That's probably not the right answer.
That is not the right answer.
Because you wouldn't have brought this question up if that was the right answer.
I'm bringing it up because I actually, before I read it, probably would have missed this as well. I think I might have gotten third and fourth backwards.
Is NC State in the top 5?
They are not.
Okay, well I'm just going to stop there then.
NC State in the last 5 years is 15-25 in conference.
Are they really?
Have a winning percentage of 37%. They suck.
Okay.
So recency bias got you there.
Sure did.
Okay. Louisville is number 3 at 28-12 under Bobby Petrino, 70% win clip.
Okay.
Miami comes in after them with just a sad sap 62% at 25-15. Obviously, they weren't any good except for last year.
Good God, Virginia Tech. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, Virginia Tech is 5th Well, Beamer wasn't exactly kicking ass, my man.
5 years is a long time in college football.
Well, and, every year we started a new season and Beamer was at the helm at Virginia Tech, I would begin the show by making reference to the Coastal, and it's somewhere in that conversation would feature me going, "We feel you, Virginia Tech. Legend on the sideline that, what are you going to do?"
Celebrating a 0-0 tie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here we are. Tough times. Good luck with that 500 if you're lucky record this year. I mean, that was the worst, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we're so sensitive to it here because I see it in other programs now and I go, "Oh, those poor people. They're handcuffed. Nothing you could do." Unless you have a new coach. When you have a new coach and he fails, you fire his ass. But when it's a guy that's been around for a while, you're like, well, they're going to give him that grace period, which means they're not going to do anything because once it goes, it goes.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is, too, I really think in terms of, I know there are some examples where I'm wrong. Michigan State might be one, but I really think in this day and age with modern coaches, if they lose it, you need to start looking. It ain't coming back. It's not coming back. And that's kind of where I was at with Jimbo with the 3 lost seasons 2 years in a row where I was going, guys.
Right. You needed him to pull a Brian Kelly, and that's an incomplete process, but, where he reevaluates things and starts from scratch. But he was never indicating that was in the future.
Yeah, and we'll see if Brian Kelly gets it back. He had the 1 year, and okay.
It's a big year for Brian.
Will commend you for doing all of that, but that he does buck a trend. Like Texas was not coming back. It was not going to get back.
The hard part is, and it's not always this way because sometimes it's just names more than actual bite, but they schedule brutally. I mean,
Notre Dame?
Yeah. So if you go...
join a conference, dumbasses. You don't have to do all that.
But just for the head coaches, it's not his job to join a conference.
No.
So if you go 9-3, 10-2, somewhere in the middle every year, that's doing some things with the schedule they have and the travel they have.
All right. So anyhow, enough about Notre Dame. Number 4 was Miami, as I said, 25-15. Virginia Tech was 23-17. This might surprise you. Who do you think was 6th? This is a tough one because all of the other teams in this conference you could nominate and say, yeah, that sounds like they'd be 6th because they're all middling to sub 500 kind of average-ass teams if at that.
I feel like Georgia Tech would be in the discussion if they didn't have that 1-win season where they beat us in 2015.
The only win they got.
Yeah. North Carolina.
Boom!
Yeah?
Good on you, buddy.
Redemption.
Good on
you.
22-18. Number 7 on this list will absolutely surprise you.
Wake Forest.
Pitt.
It did very much surprise me.
Pitt is 21-19 over the last 5 years in the ACC. They are above 500.
Well, Paul Chryst did some things.
And it got a big win over Clemson.
Big win over Miami last year.
Georgia Tech, your aforementioned Yellow Jackets, 20-20 and even 500. Sounds about right, Paul.
Yeah.
There you go, Paul. Thanks for going 500.
Outside of that ugly 2015 campaign there.
Then it's Duke. Then it's NC State. Then it's Boston College. Come on, Steve. And then it's Syracuse, Wake, and damn it, man. By definition, here comes Virginia. Except they're not. They're 10-30. 10-30. They're 10-30.
Holy cow.
It'll hurt your feelings. Obviously, the Big Ten is easy. Your first two are going to be Ohio State and Wisconsin. By the way, Ohio State the last 5 years in conference. You want to throw a guess out there?
Ohio State last 5 years in conference has 3 losses.
Well, good sir.
Yeah, all right.
They're 39-3.
It's like a Penn State and a couple Michigan States, I think.
That's it.
I was just thinking about the losses. That was the easiest way to go about it.
One of them had to be a Wisconsin, didn't it?
I don't think they lost to Wisconsin.
I think they did on the road at night. I think they did. They had one in there, I believe so.
Okay. Well, we know Michigan State lost.
Well, number 2 is Wisconsin. Wisconsin's legitimately a badass program now. They're 35-7 in that conference over the last 5 years.
That division they have is default central.
Michigan State's 3rd at 30-12. Iowa's at 4th. Way to go, Hawkeyes, 27-15. Penn State, 25. Now, but obviously Penn State's on the rise.
Trending up. That's
trending
the thing.
up. The trending up. Right.
Well, that's the hard part for Florida State here. Again, when you leave off 2013 and 2014 as this scale keeps moving, we're gonna have to start winning some ACC games around here. I mean, pretty quickly.
Yes.
To make up for the undefeated slates that we're shedding.
What do you think out of the Big 12? It's clearly Oklahoma. They're 37-8, though. But who do you think is next?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I know who you're going to say.
I'm going to guess TCU.
I knew you were going to say that. That's wrong.
It's Oklahoma State?
It is.
Son of a...
So here's what I thought about that. If I were Gundy, I'd have told that booster that, no, he wasn't a booster. He was a damn athletic director. I'd have told him, man, go spit, go pound sand.
Is it really Oklahoma State? How close is it?
31-14. They're only 6 losses off of Oklahoma.
Okay.
Then it's TCU at 28-17. But you forgot, as we're wont to do, we are.
They had an under 500 season.
They had a god-dog season that was pathetic a couple of years ago.
Maybe that's the exception when Patterson was losing it. I mean, then they kind of steadied the ship.
For a singular year. You're right. I would have started to go, Gary. Oh, if I were a TCU fan that year, I'd have gone, it's over. The dream's over. That's it. Time to move it along.
The dream's not over because at least he got you to a Power 5 school, so you got a fighting chance.
Yeah, and it is. I know there are opportunities to find situations where you say, that guy lost it and brought it back. Usually, once it starts to go, it's going.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it this way. The antenna goes up. You have a couple of seasons. When it comes to me looking at you, the first time it happens, I'm like, tough year. We had some injuries, lost our starting quarterback. Give me another 3 or 4 loss season.
Right. Yeah, if you back
it becomes the 2 fingers to my eyes, 2 fingers to you. I'm about to say it's time to move on.
If you back off and your chin recoils to the right, no big deal. But then if it has time to recoil to the left as well, and you're looking both ways.
No so you got a 2-way miss off the tee.
Oh, well, what are we doing?
We got no chance today, guys. I got a 2-way miss. I just yanked this into the trees, and this one's far right. Great.
At this point, I'll take double bogey golf on a day like that.
I'm done. I got a 2-way miss. So that's what we're going to say when coaches start to falter. He's got a 2-way miss going, guys.
That was me and Brighton.
It's just, there you go. So, anyhow, Baylor trending in the wrong direction was 4th. They had a good run there a few years back. Anyhow, what I thought about was, Texas is 6th behind Kansas State.
Yeah, yep. I would have gotten Kansas State 5th, damn it.
All right. Independence. Liberty has just edged out Notre Dame.
Way to go, Liberty.
17-9. Notre Dame 41-23. 0-6-4-1.
No, sir.
Army sub 500 by a lot.
Yep, but they got Navy the last 2 years.
Yeah, they did.
That's right.
I like right? I mean, when you're sitting around with your buddies and you're just talking about what is or is not, it's a friendly reminder that many of the programs, it's a good reminder that Florida State, even in the midst of tough times, has really never had or not had since they became Florida State, if you will, in quotations, the kind of years that many dominant programs in the history of college football have fallen victim to, like 4-8 at Florida.
Yeah.
Not once, but twice.
4-7, the next time, yeah.
But you know who's number 1 in the Pac-12 the last 5 years?
This is a mess. This one's a mess. It's got to be.
You knew I was going to get here. Who's number 1? It's a tie. It is a tie. They both are 33-12.
Okay. I would go with Stanford.
Good.
And is it Oregon or Washington? Oregon.
Southern Cal.
Oh, really? I thought they were worse than that.
Southern Cal is 33-12. The next 2 teams are Oregon and Washington, and they're tied at 28-17. It's quite the drop-off, 62% winning percentage for Oregon and Washington in the last 5 years. Remember, Washington has just recently gotten all the way back, and Oregon, of course, had fallen off after a good start at the beginning of this list.
I didn't think USC was that good, though. How about that?
They're not that good. They always lose a few games. They just haven't been... They had the one real good year, and then and then from there, nobody cares about UCLA and Washington State and Arizona State. And what's a damn shame is just seeing, again, a reminder of why Colorado should have never left the Big 12, why Nebraska should not have either. When you're in these conferences, Colorado is 12-33, sir. 12-33.
Wow.
Get the hell up out of here with 12-33. Sorry, Colorado. That is pathetic. It bothers me. Damn it, man.
Damn it, man.
All right, the SEC.
Okay.
Well.
Yeah, that's Vanderbilt number 1.
All right. So here's the only thing you need to know. People listening at home are going, all right, we know Alabama, whatever. But they're still 36-4, just to show you they don't go undefeated every year. Georgia's second and trending rapidly upward.
Mm-hmm.
LSU and Auburn are tied for third. They are 25-15, 62% win percentage. Then it's Florida, who's been a disaster as of late. Then it's Missouri.
Yeah, well, Mizzou did win the East back-to-back years.
That's true. 21-19. Missouri is at 6. And then you get into Dan Mullen led in Mississippi State program at 20-20 and even 500. But this is what I thought about. So Jimbo Fisher takes over at A&M. They are 19-21 over the last 5 years in conference. And that included a Heisman Trophy winner and Mike Evans at wide receiver.
Yeah, that was a Cotton Bowl year for them.
Mm-hmm. They beat Duke, right? Or was that the Sugar Bowl?
That was when they played in the
Sugar Bowl.
Peach Bowl. Or
Peach Bowl? Chick-fil-A?
I think it was the Peach Bowl. They played Duke.
That's when the butt-to-face.
They beat, I think, Oklahoma in the Cotton Bowl. I think.
Who?
Manziel. The first year. He came back for another run. I think the year he rose to prominence, they beat Oklahoma in the Cotton Bowl. Pretty sure about that.
You may be right. I just remember they beat Alabama, of course, in the regular season, and then also they beat Duke in that electrifying game in which both teams scored 1,000 points.
Duke was way up in that game.
Yeah,
that was a New Year's Eve game.
Choked it away, yeah. But that's the butt-to-face game that makes me laugh every time I see it. That poor lady, Johnny Manziel. Boom.
One of the great DVR clips of all time.
Super slow-mo over and over again. Did you look up to find out whether or not they did?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
I don't. Maybe I blocked it out of my memory. I don't remember them beating Oklahoma, but they could have. That said, by the way, here's what I was going to get to. What I think, two things have got to be just infinitely frustrating. You start with Texas A&M, which, again, new to the SEC. They're 19-21, hence the reason they came after Jimbo, hence the reason they're paying the money they are. But look who is down past the top 10, who's all the way down at 11 and is 9 games under 500 the last 5 years.
That'd be Rocky Top.
Tennessee is barely by a game better than Kentucky. What are we doing here, Rocky Top? Good God, man.
January 4th, 2013, number 9 Texas A&M beats number 11 Oklahoma 41-13 in the Cotton Bowl Classic.
My goodness, I did block it out of my memory. I must have been mortified. That is not getting it done, Oklahoma. Well, no wonder Bob decided to call it a day. We were moving in the wrong direction.
What is he doing?
Final hour, forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Smoother, bolder, sharper, comfier, smarter, fiercer, tougher, stronger, longer, greater, prouder. Gravely Zero Turn Mowers.
TNT.
877-8980.
Yo, this is your cup holder talking. You know me, the little round thing between your car seats. Now, listen, we need to talk. Now, I normally have a nice cold bottle of Mountain Dew in me, but at the moment, I'm empty. That's right, no Mountain Dew. Nothing in here but a couple of quarters and a dime. Those 60 cents have been freeloading a ride in me for weeks now. I really don't want to be seen like this. A fully capable cup holder like me just carrying your loose change, it's embarrassing. It's beneath me. Look, I'm not made for loose change. I'm round like a bottle of Mountain Dew. Glistening, cold, and delicious. I'm made to keep Mountain Dew within reach at all times, so you're never far from that incredible bold citrus kick whenever you need it. Just inches from your hand, all snug and secure where it won't tip over or roll under your seat or get hot in the sun. So find a store already. Grab some Dew, toss it back, then place that bottle where it belongs, and put that loose change back in your pocket. That's what pockets are for. Mountain Dew. Do the Dew.
Kohl's home sale is going on now. Stop in and pick up Cuddle Dud sheets for only $29.99. A 6-quart Instant Pot is just $99.99. A 6-quart New Wave Air Fryer is $129.99. And all Yankee candles are 25% off. Plus, take an extra 20% off when you spend $100 or more with promo code LEAF. You'll get Kohl's Cash, too. Right now at Kohl's. Select styles. Offer valid October 12th through 22nd. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohls.com for details.
Ron White, live on tour.
If your eyes go bad, you can have LASIK surgery and they can give you 20/20 vision. But let me tell you something, folks. You can't fix stupid.
November 8th, Donald L. Tucker Civic Center. Tickets on sale Friday at 10 a.m. Online at TuckerCivicCenter.com or at the Donald L. Tucker Civic Center box office. Produced by AEG Presents for mature audiences.
These days, there's enough to stress about. Do I eat enough kale? Do I eat too much kale? What's the best way to sell my car? What color should I paint the kitchen? Well, at CarMax, we can't help you with the kitchen or the kale, but we can help you sell your car. Because at CarMax, we make real offers, not estimates, so you can sell your car quickly and get back to pondering your leafy greens and picking the perfect paint. CarMax, we buy all the cars.
With a loaded roster of young stars, the Braves are going to have a fun summer with some huge National League battles.
Hit high and deep to right field. Did he get it? I guess he got it. Way out of here to right center field with room to spare.
Atlanta Braves baseball on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you in part by AmeriGas Propane of Tallahassee, Bagel Market Bistro, and by Early Trucking Company in Arlington, Georgia. Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. It's the most money ever for an offensive lineman in the NFL. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Taylor Lewan of the Titans signs a 5-year, $80 million contract extension with $50 million guaranteed. Falcons offensive lineman Jake Matthews isn't too far behind. He'll get a 5-year extension worth $75 million. ESPN's Chris Mortensen reports Falcons wideout Julio Jones will make $13.4 million this season. That's $2.9 million more under a revised contract. The team is also assuring Jones that there will be good faith negotiations next year on an extension. The Yankees put Aaron Judge on the DL today with a chip fracture in his right wrist. The team says Judge will probably be out for 3 weeks. He got hit by a pitch in the first inning last night against the Royals and left the game 2 innings later after another plate appearance. The baseball trade deadline is just 4 days away. ESPN's Buster Olney says the Yankees may make a move for another bat with Judge's injury. As for other moves to come,
there are going to be a ton of number 4 type starting pitchers, but I don't think you're going to see the big surprise unless the Washington Nationals drop a couple games here and the ownership throws up its hand and say, you know what, this has been a disappointing year, just sell. And, of course, it would be really interesting if they would throw something together in the last 24 hours with Bryce Harper.
Buster Olney on Golick and Wingo. Michigan State is stopping payments from a $10 million fund earmarked for survivors of Dr. Larry Nassar's sexual abuse. The school wants to investigate possible fraudulent claims. More than $1 million has already been paid out of that fund.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday. Brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachian Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for this week. It's been good to be back. Still good to be here. Hope you're doing well. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online. ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. Sometimes you miss things when that happens. Go get caught up. All 3 hours will be posted upon the conclusion of the program, as that's what we'll want to do, and we'll do that for you today. No different than any other day. You go back, get caught up on anything you may have missed. You can always email the show, jcs at 979espnradio.com. On Twitter, it's at J Cameron Show. It's also at 979 ESPN Radio if you want to Periscope the show. We're on YouTube, ESPN Tallahassee as well. And you can utilize the WTSM app for your mobile devices. So that helps out as well. And I believe that's every which way you can get a hold of us. Did I mention JCS at 979 ESPN Radio?
I believe so, yeah.
Email address? Hey, you know, I get caught up. I get carried away. We start to chit-chatting about sports here, Tom, and, you know, we get carried away. We forget. And Ron White is trying to sell some damn comedy tickets. And there I am just ignoring Ron White in his efforts to sell 18 months out, the big show at the Civic Center there.
Yeah, November the 8th, to be precise.
Yeah,
yes.
So, Ron, I'm going to sell some tickets for you now. A pair of tickets to Ron White's Comedy Bonanza. I don't think that's what they're calling it, but that's over there at the Civic Center.
Comedy Bonanza.
That
doesn't really fit his stage presence.
No. Potato salad tour.
Tater salad.
Tater salad.
There it is.
There it is, yeah. So he's coming in November, as Tom noted, and you can win tickets right now. Caller 3-523-3776, 523-3776. Fire it up. Let's go. Caller 3 wins them. Boom. See what I did there? Got that done.
That was well done. That's the third one we've given away today.
Yeah, and you'll know something too, Tom, that I'm not done. I'm not done. There may be more.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. Did you ever buy any of the sharp knives that you could get? But wait, there's more.
The Ginsus.
Yeah.
No, I was too young when those Ginsu ads were on. That probably would have been a little bit dangerous. But I always love that they can cut through anything, right? And then it was always they cut through last year's Ginsu knife.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's so sharp it cuts through last year's Ginsu.
Yeah, get you some of that. I thought about something today. We're going to play the Justin Fuente interview that I did in Charlotte at the ACC kickoff. We'll do that next segment. You'll hear how it is that Tom came to believe this interview represents a man who is being led to slaughter come the 3rd of September. You can hear it in his voice.
Well, he may or may not be in reality, but he feels that way when he interviewed with you. That's you know.
I think it was a central theme. These coaches oftentimes come with a message to sell while they're at these events, and I think that's true, that he wanted people to know that, hey, man, we've got some issues here early on that we're going to have to overcome. We'll see if we can do it. They're all ready to get to work, by the way, when you sit down and talk with them. They're all ready to get they're fired up to get to work. Everybody is right now. But I thought about this. You know, often – when the NFL draft comes around, and we get excited about the NFL draft, rightfully so, because we've seen all these players. You know, that's what's different about the NFL draft than, say, the NBA draft. You know, basketball being an international game where professional football is not soccer, but, I mean, the football we play.
Yeah.
It's here in America, and the minor leagues are college football, and there's a good chance you've seen, at least in the first couple of rounds, most of the guys that get selected in some way, or you've heard about them and made it a point then to watch them because they're All-Americans or whatever they are. It seems to me the most surefire bet you get anymore with these selections where a few years later, like we had today, they're getting an extension and they're making a lot of money. The surest bet in that regard is always an offensive lineman. If you are thought to be an elite offensive lineman going into the draft, to the point where you're talked about as a top 10, top 20 pick of the draft, I know there are busts, but I would guess the highest rate of home run hits for organizations are the offensive linemen. And we had another one today, Taylor Lewin, Luan, however you want to say it, for the Titans, got a huge contract extension, and you want to talk about going pantless for a day. Long-term, $80 million deal for him. And I can remember when he was coming out, and he's only 27 years old, and this is a historic extension in terms of money. He was going into his fifth-year option, but he was the number 11 overall pick in the 2014 draft, and I remember this conversation.
Yeah, I think it's 50 guaranteed, too, which is the most ever by an offensive lineman. Also, Jake Matthews up in Atlanta got a long-term extension today. Yeah. So it's a big day for tackles.
But the thing about this is, Tom, we've had guys coming out of Texas A&M several times. We've had a few other offensive linemen that were the same type guys, like he's Michigan, Lewin is. And it was all sort of like, this guy's a can't miss. They're all can't miss, and they didn't miss.
So what you're saying is Indianapolis in about 5 years is going to be extending your boy, the guard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Much to your chagrin.
Much to my chagrin, because I wanted him desperately. I felt like he was as good a pick as you could get in this draft, and I think that's going to turn out to be true.
You're right, though. The other part about the NFL and the draft that makes it appealing is, at least, even though it may not bear out that way if you look at AFC, NFC championship games, by and large, over 10 years, you have hope every year. So it's two things at once. It's you're familiar with the talent base that's going in the draft, but then also it's easier to climb up to the top of the game. With anybody that you get. It could be pick 25. In the NBA, it's the first 6 picks are the ones that people care about, and sometimes not even that far. And honestly, if you're not on Golden State, what the hell do you care anyway? Congratulations, Milwaukee Bucks. You got, the best player from Kentucky. Like, who really cares? You're not any closer to winning a title, because guess what? Golden State's out there. In the NFL, it's just a completely different existence. Plus, you do know the players, and you've already bought into their storylines.
So you mentioned Matthews, Jake Matthews, 2014, same draft, man. I can still remember these drafts, first-round picks. These guys were all thought to be can't miss. It's just so seldom that at other position groups, wide receiver, running back, linebacker, quarter, anywhere else, you just don't see the consistency. And I could be wrong. We need to look at these numbers, and I'll fight back and admit that I was wrong if that happens. But I'm telling you.
I think receiver's been pretty good of late, maybe a little bit more improved, but I agree with you. I don't think it touches offensive line. Maybe defensive ends or defensive tackles are somewhere in that conversation, but by and large, there's more offensive linemen taken in the top 20 anyway, it feels like.
It's just, I think it's your less risky pick, and that's why annually I find myself, when we're doing this exercise of the NFL draft, if you're uncertain, if there's not a guy that you think is a game changer at a skill position, because again, running backs, we thought we had some that a lot of people thought, okay, this guy's can't miss, and it just hasn't happened at all times. So when you don't know that, but you've got a guy that is universally agreed upon as a top 15 offensive lineman to be, you take him. You take him. When you're in limbo, you take that guy.
So, with that being said, does that make you more angry at the Bucs for?
Well, we got screwed. I mean, the guy got picked right before.
No, but not taking a tackle in that moment. The other kid out of Notre Dame instead of perhaps Vita Vea.
Yeah, I don't know why, and I think it's the pessimist in me. I don't know about Vita Vea.
Mm-hmm. I get there's a trade involved there, but they still could have, in that moment, captured the best offensive lineman instead of moving back.
Yeah. I hope I'm wrong, man.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, you got your
I know
island interior lineman.
Right. We got to be careful how we say it.
That's why it's Island Nation.
No, you're right. We did. And I've wanted one of those guys from the islands for a long time. And it's a compliment to them, because it seems like they're all good.
Yep.
I know that's a stereotype, and it's not a negative one, but it is still a stereotype. I acknowledge that. But they all seem to be able to play off the islands. They're huge, crazy-looking dudes. I like my guys to look crazy and be productive.
And he's not a corner,
No,
he's precisely the position.
He is the guy, yes. I don't know, man. I will report on something FSU related here for a second, and like I said, we'll get into the Justin Fuente conversation next segment. Dalvin Cook reported to camp, and we have camp news now. I mean, people are reporting to camp. We got deals getting done just as camp starts, because some guys are going to hold out. Teams come to agreements, and you have all that. It's interesting to see what the Texans do with Jadeveon Clowney, they're uncertain right now.
Julio Jones just got his money.
Yeah, that's right.
It's only a little bit more, but I guess that mattered a lot to him.
Yeah, he obviously got his money. It'll be a lot of fun to see. But that said, it's great to read stories like this. Dalvin Cook returned to camp and ditched the knee brace. He says, I'm in great shape, ready to roll, and couldn't feel any better than I do right now. So good for Dalvin, because obviously you always worry with knees.
That has the potential to be a really explosive offense. I mean, it does. I get Kirk Cousins isn't the first person you think of when you think NFL quarterback, but he's one of the better ones that have been on the market in the last 5 years through free agency. And we already knew by the end of the season with Diggs and Thielen that they've got a good receiving core that kind of emerged out of nowhere. They got a good tight end and a couple of other good backs. I mean, Minnesota is a team that, if they're not the favorite in the North, it's only because of Aaron Rodgers, but I don't know that Aaron Rodgers' supporting cast is
good enough,
worthy and as complete, because Minnesota also has really good defensive play.
Let me say this. I've never torn an ACL. I had arthroscopic knee surgery, but nothing as severe as what you see with guys with ACLs, MCLs, and all of that. But I've been around a lot of guys that did have that, and a lot of talented players. And it was always interesting to me to hear them talk about the rehabilitation process. And that process is much different now than it used to be. In the late 80s, early to mid 90s, if you had this injury, it could be a long-term comeback. It could take a while. Nowadays, we're left in awe at how quickly people are able to respond after surgery with an injury like a torn ACL, and how quickly they get back, etc. But the biggest aspect across the board, and I imagine it's still true today, just as it was in yesteryear, of getting back to your old self and running in the same way that you ran that led to you being a pick of that stature, is trust. Because structurally, they'll tell you it's fine, but you have to be willing to really push the envelope and trust it to fully come back to where you were. So I really enjoyed reading this from Dalvin Cook. Quote, I got comfortable without the brace over the offseason. I told myself I've put the work in. I'm going to test it out before I get back into camp. I tested it out. I felt very comfortable. I just decided to move forward and told Vikings Director of Sports Medicine, Eric Sugarman, and the training staff that I wasn't going to wear this thing. I don't need to wear it. They said they were comfortable with it. If I'm comfortable with it, and I am. Man, that sounds like a confident guy to me.
It sounds like a confident guy, and there is precedent in body awareness with Dalvin Cook. The way he dealt with a hamstring injury up
it's
to the
still
brink.
Remarkable. I don't even know how that was ever done. It's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen, knowing how bad hamstrings can be.
It may not mean that he's right here, and he could re-injure it and be careless with it.
Whether he's wearing the brace or not.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So it's not a one-to-one, and it's not going to predict what's going to happen here. But if I'm going to bet on somebody in terms of body awareness and knowing what he needs or does not need, Dalvin Cook has given me more evidence than almost any football player I've ever seen before him.
It was crazy. You're just talking about it now, and I'm thinking back in my mind the situation against Miami where he's out the gate, he's going to score another long touchdown, feels it, sees up on him, goes straight to the ground, actually fumbled the football, goes straight to the ground, and I don't know, anybody that I've ever seen in any sport anywhere that looked like they had been shot out of a cannon only to seize up and fall to the ground while clutching their hamstring did not come back within the same damn game and light it up. I've never, ever seen it before or since.
And he did it against Louisville for the noon kick.
Yeah.
Remember, he went under the tent after grabbing at it, and then he came back in the second half and just completed the game.
It's a different deal. It's just crazy to me. And to run that way? Silliness. I feel my hamstrings start to. Dalvin Cook is a world-class athlete. I am not, but I feel my hamstrings start to. Hey!
Right.
We're done here.
Well, I think that's
for a month.
That's what he's doing, but without the month part.
Yeah.
But I can remember I was sitting behind the Miami bench for that game, right at midfield, and it was one of those where, yes, you're right. He shot out of a cannon, and I'm so low to the close to the surface that when you're following him, everything else is a blur. And my head keeps going, and he's not in the picture anymore. And I look back, and there he is in a heap.
And you're thinking, that's
game
season.
over.
Well, you're thinking the season is over for him at that point, that it snapped and we're done. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Justin Fuente, Virginia Tech head coach from Charlotte, where I talked to him last week, is going to join us next.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Smoother, bolder, sharper, comfier, smarter, fiercer, tougher, stronger, longer, greater, prouder. Gravely zero-turn mowers.
Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
These days, there's enough to stress about. Do I eat enough kale? Do I eat too much kale? What's the best way to sell my car? What color should I paint the kitchen? Well, at CarMax, we can't help you with the kitchen or the kale, but we can help you sell your car. Because at CarMax, we make real offers, not estimates, so you can sell your car quickly and get back to pondering your leafy greens and picking the perfect paint. CarMax, we buy all the cars.
Summer is heating up, and so are the Makita deals at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Purchase a brushless premium 5-amp-hour hammer drill impact kit and receive your choice of a free bare tool and a free 6-amp-hour battery. That's a $260 value free. Makita introduces one battery, one tool for all your outdoor power equipment needs. Buy a commercial-grade Makita shafted string trimmer and add any other attachment, plus receive a matching blower free. A $189 value for free. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener with 2 locations to choose from, 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer.
Nice Tire and Auto, just minutes away from FSU campus.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Libations Friday continues loosey and goosey. Our thanks to our friends at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. You know, I was over there today, Tom, and I learned a lot about stuff I don't know. And that is that Cornerstone has a gazillion things, whether you're a do-it-yourselfer kind of guy and you need tools to get things done, they got that bountiful. Or if you're like a foreman and you're building a hotel, I mean, everything and in all that's in between. I learned a lot. I got to go back over there because I don't know enough, but it intrigued me. You know what I do know is that I'm going to purchase a Makita. I'm not saying this just because that's the brand they have. They have several brands, but Makita has the wireless thing is in, man. The cordless drills, cordless edgers, trimmers, all that stuff. Obviously, chainsaws. I'm in.
I am somewhat familiar with these devices because I did read Cornerstone spots for about a year and a half. So when I was motoring through all of these, I did retain some stuff. That cordless are in, the 5 amp hours, and all that.
That's the deal right there.
Yep.
That's clean and easy. Anybody, a dumbass like me with this stuff, you just make sure that battery's charged. Shoo-ba-dee-doo. Let's do some shopping.
They also threw ads out there over the years that they've been on with us where they're talking about compliance. You know, you have to be compliant to certain regulations. Where you're talking about foreman stuff, that makes total sense. OSHA compliant was the number one thing.
Unbelievable.
That I remember reading.
The stuff, and I got the warehouse in the back. I mean, I learned a lot, and I'm going to learn more. And I'm never going to talk out of school because I'm one of these guys that comes on the air and tells you, look, I'm not all that handy. I don't fix a lot of things. I call people who do. But those people likely go to Cornerstone Tool and Fastener to get the stuff they need to fix the stuff for Jeff. Because and many more greater projects, that's for sure. But I'd like to learn more. It's intriguing to me. Our old good friend, mutual friend, Matt Millar, can fix anything. And, well, he's more about building. He doesn't fix things, but he builds. And if you are one of those guys, or if you're a big-time guy, that's what you do. You go over there to Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. I agree with that. All right, I don't know who's had a worse offseason, the University of Florida or Virginia Tech. Florida's making a late run to surpass Virginia Tech as having had the worst offseason. Things could not have started any worse for Dan Mullen. Every day a new story that should embarrass Florida fans, the university, the program, and anybody that's ever played there, coached there, or rooted for that team. And it's great because that's just who they are. But Virginia Tech's had a tough offseason too, Tom. And, all right, so I'm ready. Come on. Yeah, I laid it on thick, but it's been terrible for you Gators. This is not going well for you.
No, I saw, and I don't know where this stems from, but Dan Wolken felt compelled to tweet out today to add to Tay Bang stuff and, the
Justin
frying pans
Watkins and yeah.
That, he thinks it's a little off. It's not the end of the world, but it's a little off that Dan Mullen might, tell a kid, I want you to be the Aaron Hernandez of our offense. I mean, come on, Dan. Couldn't you use the centerpiece of the offense? Do you really want to go harken back to Aaron Hernandez?
There's just a lot of stuff going on there right now that speaks to a program kind of in disarray. Let's just put it that way. They're losing the recruiting battles left and right. They got kids getting in trouble left and right. They got a lot of problems, man. Just a lot of problems. But we'll see if they've surpassed Virginia Tech. They were the original, oh, my God, look at the offseason Virginia Tech's having crew. And, I had a chance to sit down with Justin Fuente last week at the meetings there in Charlotte. And I didn't know what I was going to get. I've interviewed him twice before, and I thought it would be interesting to talk to him here. And, he's a smart guy. He is a charismatic guy in his own way. Strong, you can tell, focused and buttoned up. And so I was really intrigued to see how he would talk about his team coming into this season, the magnitude of this game that we were going to play against them on Labor Day night. And then his thoughts, of course, obviously, with all of the stuff off the field that's got to be infinitely frustrating for a coach to deal with. Not unlike the daily stories that Dan Mullen's having to deal with at Florida. So here is my interview with Justin Fuente at the ACC kickoff.
And he sounds a good deal like Jeff Bridges. So enjoy that.
Really? Okay. Well, we'll have to hear that. He gave me a couple intense stares when I was asking a couple of questions. Now, I think this is a nice interview. I wasn't a gotcha guy in this interview. But he also, I think you correctly point out, and we'll let you hear it for yourself, he also sounds like a guy who's he's deeply troubled in terms of what lies in wait for this game and maybe this season. Coach, I had the privilege to interview you the first year you were in the ACC, and we talked about what it was like coming over from Memphis and, why you committed to a program like Virginia Tech. We've had a chance now. You've been very successful through your first 3 years. I guess give me an overview as you enter year 3, I should say, on your thoughts of Virginia Tech football, where you're at.
Well, I love where we're at. It's been a little bit of a different transition, not because of Coach Beamer, but because of what we've inherited. It's been we've been a little bit more of a veteran group the first 2 years. Now we're a really young group. So it's kind of like this is year one.
Yeah.
Year 1 and 2 are kind of like year 3. But it's been good. We're excited. We got some good, young, talented guys that are working hard. I like the progress we're continuing to make, and looking forward to working with our kids this year.
When you first come into a program, is it harder to instill the message along with system changes and all of those things when you have a veteran group, or is this harder in some ways in that you had a group, you started off on the right foot, played very well each of your first 2 years, but now had a troublesome offseason, which you've talked about openly, and you got young guys, and you're starting over a little bit with some of these guys, at least in terms of playing time.
Well, for us, this will be more difficult, because our older kids were so eager to do whatever we asked them to do when we started. I mean, they didn't buck the system at all. They were all in from day one,
right.
and they reaped the benefits of that. This will be a bigger challenge just because of our youth. But it's a fun one, and it's part of coaching and part of what we do, and we're excited to go take that challenge on. But it'll be more difficult than what it ended up being, which was a bunch of old guys that bought in right from the first day when we started.
When you have an offseason that's been filled with injury, a couple suspensions, some things that you couldn't have anticipated, 8 guys you got to replace defensively, how do you go about that process? I know there's a lot of teaching, but how do you go about that process, especially right out the gate? You play Florida State on a Monday night.
Well, it's like how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. That's all we can do. We can control the things that we can control. We can learn from other people's actions and mistakes. We can talk about it as a team openly about the ramifications of things and decisions that we all make, which in turn makes me make decisions that affect the entire football team. And I have a clear responsibility to Virginia Tech and to our players to push them to be the best that they can be in everything they do. So how do we do it? We take one step at a time. We take it one day at a time. We try not to lose focus on our tasks. We try not to get distracted by all the things that sometimes are about because of our own decisions, and sometimes they're about because of just today's day and age.
Right.
But we try to put our blinders on and just roll our sleeves up and go to work.
When you took the job, you told me that Virginia Tech was special to you. You weren't going to leave for just any job. You were leaving Memphis. Obviously, you were sought after. A lot of programs looked into you. But you wanted it to be a good marriage for your family, for you. And then I thought this offseason, before Willie Taggart was hired at Florida State, before Florida hired, your name got thrown around a lot again. But you've made it well known. You weren't interested. Has Virginia Tech been exactly what you thought it would be?
Yeah. And again, here's what I would say about all that stuff is I'm never going to make definitive long-term statements. I think those come back to bite people in the tail. Circumstances change, opinions change, feelings change, all that sort of stuff. And we can't predict those. But I can tell you this much. It's been everything I've wanted. I'm incredibly happy. My family's happy. We enjoy living here. And, 2 years is not enough. We've got unfinished business to do here that we're building towards. And I've enjoyed every moment we've been doing it, and I'm looking forward to continuing to do it for some time in the future.
Your noted work with quarterbacks, once again, a year ago, Josh Jackson, simply spectacular. Obviously, at the end of the year, got a little bit harder for him. Talk about his growth. Troubles behind him now. He seems to be in a good place.
Yeah, I've been really pleased with him. What we've got to do is get better around him. We've got to continue to get better at wide out and at running back and the offensive line to help him be a better player. I think he established himself as a competitive, tough-minded kid. He's got to continue to develop in terms of he has a very high mental ceiling, and I think he can continue to improve that. And then he's got to make the average plays on a more consistent basis. And they can do those two things. He's gonna be fine. If we can continue to get better around him, it'll be really good.
What are the challenges? Final thing, I've talked to coaches who have varied opinions about playing a game like this out the chute. Some coaches will tell you, yeah, if your program's in the right place and everything is exactly where you want it and you're senior laden, sure, let's play that game. Others will say, not ideal for any team, really. Coaches will tell you, well, we got to play who we got to play and we'll be ready to play. Do you like a game like this on a Monday night, nation watching, or would you prefer to ease into a season?
Well, I'd certainly prefer to have a bunch of returning starters. Yeah. I don't know that I really want to go out of my way to play the marquee game in the first game of the year.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily bad. It's obviously the same for both teams, but I do think it's a benefit of the older squad. I think that the teams with the more knowns. When you trot out to that tunnel, the first game of the year, all across the nation, they're unknowns. The teams with the most experience have the less unknowns, and the team with the less unknowns is a little bit of an advantage. But I like this. I like what we're doing. I feel good about our ability to prepare our kids to play big games early in the year, and we'll see how it goes.
Is it more difficult when the opposing team has a new system being put into play?
Well, I think the preparation is more elaborate. You've got to be a little more detailed in it. You got to watch Florida State film for personnel, and then you've got to watch Willie's coordinators and Willie's history for scheme to get a feel for what you may see.
Justin Fuente, head coach at Virginia Tech, who I thought was candid, and I enjoyed that interview. I always do like to talk to him. He does sound like a guy who's got a little stress in his life right now because it's an uphill climb when you're looking to replace 8 starters on defense, and your first game is against Florida State on the road at night. And, his quarterback, Josh Jackson, I also talked to. You'll hear that interview at another time. But he's right when he refers to him as heady. And one thing I think is interesting is that maybe one would have been inclined, I think we probably all would, if you hear that somebody's having academic issues, somebody is maybe not eligible to play, something like that, you might not assume that they're real smart guys. The two don't always go hand in hand, obviously, but sometimes that's the way you kind of make a certain leap in logic sometimes, saying, well, he struggled in the classroom year one. This is going to be a tough task for him. I don't know what's going on there. It's not because he's not smart. He's really smart. And then when Fuente said that, Coach Fuente said that, I thought, okay, something else was going on there. I don't know what it was, but he's cleared to play and he's good to go. If he's the kid that played, Tom, the first 6 games of the season, including one against Clemson, including one against West Virginia, then they've got a fine player on their hands here, and a kid that can really turn the corner and become very, very good at some point in ACC play. If he's the kid that played the game on the road against Miami and obviously Georgia Tech and Pitt and Virginia, where he's a guy going 48%, 53%, 45%, then they got a problem on their hands. It could have just been tough first year towards the end of a long season for a kid of that ilk. He's shown signs that he could be really, really good, but just later in the year, for the last 5 games, he wasn't very good.
Well, to me, and this is why the other day I tweeted out a photo of Mr. T as Clubber Lang saying dead meat about Justin Fuente. The first thing that jumps out overall, be it quarterback, anything else that he said, he talked about how it's been an inverted experience at Virginia Tech. Mm-hmm. Year 1 and 2 were kind of like a year 3 in the program because you had veterans who bought in day one. But it's the end of that statement that, to me, whoa. So they bought in day one. Now we have a challenge with younger players. So that tells me that he doesn't believe his younger players are buying into the message, which leads me to the next question. After a spring practice and you have, obviously, new recruits coming in the summer, are you not recruiting your type of guys to the program? That's not usually something you hear from a coach with a young team. It's about inexperience, not buying in to the program. And so you have that problem and you have inexperience piled on top of one another. It sounds like he's got quite a mess on his hands.
Yeah, it does. And it may not be as big a mess as he made it sound in the interview, because I'm not sure he was trying to convey that there is a lack of buy-in from the newer players, but rather that the guys he inherited from Frank Beamer's team that he didn't want to disparage because it's a legend in Frank Beamer were so eager to get to winning that it wasn't difficult to get a buy-in. That he came along at a time where a veteran group was tired of losing games and they would have looked upon anything new as something to be all in with. And then now that you're incredibly young and you're going about the process of teaching and also getting kids to buy in, but you're dealing with off-the-field issues and suspensions, that it's less of it's a little bit more cluttered, a little bit more convoluted than it was when he first arrived. And I think maybe that's what he was trying to say, as opposed to, I got some kids that aren't buying in. I think maybe that's what he was talking about. There's just a lot on his plate that wasn't on his plate when he first got there.
I can hear that side of it. To me, it's tough. It's tough to read it any other way, because why would you go out of your way twice to say that those veterans were ready to go day one?
Just because I think it would account for some early success, because I congratulated him on his success so far. What it sounds like, Tom, where we are in total agreement, is it sounds like he's a guy trying to prepare Virginia Tech fans for a bad season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the whys and hows of that don't matter to us. It sounds an awful lot like a guy who's trying to prepare them with, it's going to be tough.
This is like year one? Like, that's your message to me? This is like me taking over the program for the first year. Yikes. But to me, that's damning, because you're getting your kids in here, man.
Yeah.
So you've had 3 cycles now of recruits coming in, or 2, whatever the math works out based upon when he was hired, of your kids, and you're going to tell me that this is going to have year one growing pains? You should have your system ready to go. It should be a machine. Yes, in experience, but not for a lack of the system being, declared and committed to.
Well, I think he's got to be very relieved that he did get Josh Jackson back, because I think that kid is going to be good. He threw for nearly 3,000 yards and 20 touchdowns and 9 interceptions in year one. They weren't great around him. He's right about that. So I think he's got a chance to be pretty good. He is tough. So that will help, I think, ease the transition here with these newer guys and all the inexperience on defense. Listen, for me, I have so much respect for what they do year in and year out defensively and what Bud Foster brings to the table every year. I'm not going to buy into this woe is us hook, line, and sinker. He's going to downplay their chances of winning that game, and he may express some concerns about early season success and that, hey, we're going to be better later rather than earlier. Well, that may all be true, but we're also implementing a brand new offense that we've never utilized in a game before, and if Bud Foster can dial up the pressure and disguise where it's coming from against a team that is now running a new offense, and it's a first time if you in any way establish some doubt, things can come off the rails. So I'm not going to just assume we go out there and light them up in this first game. I do like Florida State's chances at home, but I would have liked it if they returned all of those guys at Virginia Tech. I still think that this is a hornet's nest that Virginia Tech is walking into, if you will. I think it's a kind of situation where, because emotions play such a big part of college football, that stadium on that night, it would have been a really damn tough place to play for anybody. There's a part of me that almost wishes we were playing Clemson. I don't. Almost.
Well, if you're going to get them game one. They've started off slow.
And the atmosphere at Doak that night is going to be something that carries the momentum for a time.
I think if you look at that side of the football, and by that I mean Florida State's offense is on the field and the Hokies' defense is on the field, there's a lot of potential for busted coverages for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, because of all the youth, yeah.
And missed assignments on our side because we're implementing a new system. There could be some real sloppy moments. A free rusher, you go, how does that happen? That's their defensive end, dude. What are you doing? Or we have a receiver that's 30 yards wide open and it's an easy touchdown. I mean, that's game ones already have that, but when you add inexperience on defense and a new scheme on offense, I feel like it's like that turned up to 12.
Well, and the exciting part, too, for Florida State, I think, is that, and for Florida State fans, is that we're going to see more moments in which people are streaking wide open in this kind of an offense that we're running now than we did in the past. I mean, there's going to be exhaustion. There's going to be people who don't get lined up in time, and they're just going to get beat. Somebody's just not going to be prepared. You'll get more big plays in an offense like this. And, man, that's going to be a welcome sight to sore eyes. I mean, God, dog, we would sit around laboriously waiting for something to happen the last few years. And everything felt like it was a 14-play drive to success the last couple of seasons. I don't know how it would be in game one, but I suspect by the time we get to Sanford, Syracuse, and Northern Illinois, Florida State's going to have some moments where you're lighting up the scoreboard.
And you may still have some 14-play drives. They'll just be in half the time.
Yeah, and nothing wrong with that. That's fine. I like keeping people out on the field and giving the defense a rest. I'm fine with that. And also, I don't think people realize just how much we're going to run the football. We're going to run the heck out of the football. I'm not talking about greatest show on turf, spread it out, fire it all over the lot, 60 times a game. That's not what this offense is. And you've got a loaded backfield, so you should play to it.
It fits, yes, especially if the offensive line can have a physical signature to it. Wouldn't that be nice? If nothing else, they may be average, but at least you know that they're going to maul some people along the way.
It would be nice.
Yes.
It would be really nice. It's been a while. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men on a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Smoother, bolder, sharper, comfier, smarter, fiercer, tougher, stronger, longer, greater, prouder. Gravely Zero-Turn Mowers.
You're dealing with real glass people, experienced, reliable professionals. Widden's top-of-the-line bath and shower enclosures provide style and luxury at an affordable price. With the holidays coming, that means family, and that means now is the time to shower up with style.
Call today. Widden Glass, the real glass people. 222-5781 or online at widdenglass.com. WHIDDON. Widden, Tallahassee's first family in glass since 1945. 222-5781.
Bob Sullivan founded Bob's Auto and Collision Center with the goal of providing honest repair estimates, fair pricing, and fast service. 35 years later, he's done just that and has made Bob's Auto #1 with FSU students and Tallahassee. His daughters, Misty and Melissa, have now taken the wheel and are still providing the best car care and collision service in town. Now open, Bob's Auto and Collision Center has moved to Lake Bradford Road. Just a mile and a half down the road, the new Bob's Auto and Collision Center is now open.
Are you aware of what hard water really costs you? Heating elements can lose 25% of efficiencies, wasting hundreds of dollars in electricity and water. Repairs to valves, pipes, and early replacement of fixtures and appliances are very costly. Don't let hard water wash away your money. The HydroCare Smart Descaler from Wave Home Solutions easily clamps onto a pipe and will eliminate and prevent limescale in all pipes, appliances, and fixtures permanently. For more information, visit fixhardwaternow.com. That's fixhardwaternow.com.
So, Jeff.
Yeah.
I run into these ladies named Kathy and Grace. Mm-hmm. They love you, by the way.
Oh, they're smart people already.
Oh, my gosh. And darling ladies. They were at Bumpus, and they were telling me how they went to Gordo's and that it wasn't open yet. And I said, no, we are open, man.
I could have assured them that it is most definitely open.
It is open, and it'll be open until Sunday.
Ouch.
So we're closing on the 30th, and we'll be moving this week. We'll be in process of moving. Now, I know it's sad. I've been there for...
I'm a little emotional. I love the old Gordo's. You're telling me the new Gordo's is going to be better, though?
Well, the Gordo's in Market Square, the old Gordo's on Pensacola Street...
It's not going anywhere.
Still open. Still open, going to be there.
For life.
I hope so, God willing. And if you're on this side of town, you can always come eat at Bumpus.
New one is open when? A week, 2 weeks, something like that?
I'm shooting for a week, Jeff.
All right, I like it.
Shooting for a week and
same
maybe
great
two.
Food, same mahi, new drink specials,
more
drink
beer? Specials, more beers. We'll have a patio.
All right.
We're going to have, with fans and everything. It's going to be highfalutin, Jeff.
Highfalutin, the new Gordo's in a week or two. And in the meantime, go to Bumpus.
In the meantime, please come check out Bumpus.
All right. Yay, new Gordo's. We'll see you soon.
Right on.
This Day in Sports brought to you by Superlube. Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary.
This Day in Sports History.
July 27th, 1999. After suffering several cracked ribs, concussions, a back injury, and losing several teeth, Tony Hawk became the first skateboarder to complete a 900 on a halfpipe during the 6th X Games in San Francisco. Once he landed the trick, he exclaimed, "This is the best day of my life. I swear to God."
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday, brought to you by Quarter Pocket Bar and Grill. Quarter Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachian Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
All right, tomorrow morning, if you're up and running around and you've got Sirius Satellite Radio, be listening to me, 7 to 10 a.m. No, I'm not on from 7 to 10 a.m. at all. That'd be a waste of your time, except for the last part of that. I'm on from 9 to noon.
When's 7 to 10? Is that next Wednesday?
That's on Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting distracted. And this pen has just leaked ink all over me for the second day in a row.
Okay, so yesterday, we did decide with the hour of regular show and then 2 hours of headlines.
We went and played golf.
We actually did, which was nice.
Yeah.
But at the end of the round, yes, your hands looked like they were soaked in ink, and I didn't know what the genesis of that was.
Now we know. It's this sorry-ass pen that I've just thrown in the garbage because it has inked me yet again.
Which pen was it? Was it just a standard-looking pen? Or
it's not my cool East Tennessee State pen. It's some other pen who has forsaken me.
You have an ETSU pen?
Yeah, sits in here at all times. I got 2 of them.
Really? Well, that's cool.
I got an ETSU mug that I drink coffee out of, along with my Florida State and my Pirates mug. I got all kind. Anything I've been connected to in any way, I got something for. I got something for everything. I mean, my mugs are not unlike my shirts a lot of times, Tom. I like there to be a personal connection to the things that I drink out of and or wear, if possible. It's not always possible, but, so, I mean, I have an ETSU mug. I actually have a Lakewood High School mug that my mom sent me at one point.
You have a styrofoam shirt?
Yes, of course. I also have a what's my latest? A lot of band mugs. So you've seen my Who
like
mug.
A Pearl Jam mug. Or
I
something?
don't have a Pearl Jam mug, but I have a Who. I have a Tribe Called Quest mug.
Should it look like it's Pearl? Like a Pearl
That would
Jam
be pretty
mug?
cool, right? Yeah. But my pins now, if I can help it, are that way too. I have a Florida State pin. I have a FAMU pin. I have an ETSU pin. I've got some good pins. Right now, sitting here only is a black Sharpie and an East Tennessee State pin because this other pin has just busted up and screwed me.
Let me guess. It was an ACC pen.
It was not an ACC pin, but I did bring 2 back. I brought 2 ACC pins back, buddy. I thought 1 for Tom, 1 for me. He'll proudly write with this pin.
It should speak when you click it,
Yeah.
The ACC Digital Network.
Linear network next year. Click, click, click. We're rich.
We promise. We cannot stress this enough.
All right. So anyhow, let's do probables before we sign off and head out for the weekend.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Doobie-doo-doo. So, that's tomorrow, 9 to noon, College Sports Saturday. A rundown of all of the Power 5 conference kickoffs. We'll have audio from all of them, including audio that I got while at the ACC kickoff. And then also stuff from the SEC, the Big 12. Well, you guys know the Power 5 conferences. That should be fun.
Did you get any audio from the Sirius XM setup at the ACC meetings? I'm sure they let you use that.
They've got audio that I'll utilize tomorrow, Tom.
Okay.
They've got audio that I'll utilize tomorrow. It'll be great. Yeah. Producer even asked for it. Hey, we've got some audio for you here, some audio for you there. Audio abounds, Tom.
I see.
Yeah. Kansas City at New York. Brad Keller, CC Sabathia. Boy, the Mets just pounded the Pirates last night.
Wow, where did that come from?
12 runs. Good Christ. Jason Vargas goes for the Mets. We need to get our revenge tonight, but it's not going to be easy because we've got Ivan Nova
As Drubel drove in 4 runs last night, that dude wants to get traded. He is pushing for it right now.
Well, he needs to slow his roll tonight against Nova. Rays, Orioles, Chris Archer and Andrew Kashner. We got the Indians and the Tigers, Carlos Carrasco, Mike Farr. Minnesota Twins, Boston Red Sox, Lance Lynn, Chris Sale. He's really good, man. 3 starts this month for Chris Sale. He gave up 1 run.
How about the Yankees bullpen? What in the world? They need 5 innings. Can you give me 5? That's all they're asking their starters.
And they can't catch the Red Sox. How good is Boston?
That is true.
Scary. Phillies, Reds, Nick Pivetta, Anthony DeScalfini. Nats, Marlins, Max Scherzer, and Pablo Lopez. Tom takes great delight in knowing that the Nationals are still a game under 500.
Yeah, they may be sellers at the deadline.
Dodgers, Braves. Here you go, kids. Right here on this network.
That's true.
7:35 tonight, SunTrust Park. Clayton Kershaw, Mike Fultinovich.
Coverage begins at 6:20 p.m. with me, Ben Ingram.
That's not a bad Ben Ingram. He's got a good voice.
He does have a good voice. I'm not knocking it, but that's, it's very locked in.
It's all, yeah. I think he was 4 years old when he started talking like that. Rangers, Astros, Giovanni Gallardo, Dallas Keuchel.
I have a Rice Krispie treat.
Blue Jays, White Sox, Marcus Stroman, Reynaldo Lopez. Cubs, Cards. Luke Weaver going to start, FSU's own. For the Cards, we got Mike Montgomery starting for the Cubs. A's, Rockies, Sean Manaea, Kyle Freeland. Mariners, Angels, Wade LeBlanc, Andrew Haney. D-backs, Padres, Zach Greinke, Luis Perdomo. I got 3 guys this set of pitchers tonight that have allowed me to do the whatever that is I do with the...
It's just unfortunate that Mikolas isn't pitching.
Oh, you're right. Yes. Brewers, Giants, Chase Anderson, Madison Bumgarner, and that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. So, I guess tomorrow is the big kids run around thing? Or is that tonight?
The kids run around thing.
Yeah, that everybody gets excited about.
Oh, that's right.
That's tomorrow.
You vouched for the fanhood of the people who show up at Saturday Night Live.
That's right.
So it's tomorrow.
Yeah, that's
SNL.
tomorrow. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody, fellow Noel, said, I don't get for the life of me why you have the platform you do that you'd make fun of that event. Oh, I think the event's great. If I'm a coach or a player, I think it's a hell of an event. It's a great way to maybe encourage kids to commit to my university. Good for those coaches and kids.
Beyond that, I'm going to go watch some wrestling instead.
I'm going to take it to the Civic Center.
I'm more cultured.
Go out to eat. I don't know. Read. Do something. Yard work.
Walk.
Stand in a room and breathe. All of it sounds more interesting.
Someplace could use some mopping.
Oh, that reminded me of the mopping thing over at Clear Channel. That was the best. Matt Millar.
Oh, I don't remember this.
Oh, so we're in the break room, and there was a person there cleaning. It was at the end of the evening.
Uh-oh.
Well, no, and it was just a misstep on his part. He wasn't trying to be a jerk, but he felt terrible about it, as he should have. He walked in to get, I don't know what he get, the popcorn or something, right? And then it was like a Friday, and he goes, hey, how you doing? And the lady said, doing well. And she's mopping a floor. I mean, I don't know how well you're doing at that point, but she's mopping the floor, and he goes, all right. And he turns around, and she goes, have a great evening. He goes, you too, and have fun mopping. It's like, dude. We turned around the hall corner, and I go,
come on,
mopping?
Come on,
why'd you just spit on her? What are you doing? He's like, I didn't mean it. I didn't know what to say. I'm like, right. Have fun mopping. You're an ass. That's how that ended. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you Monday.